Hey y'all, how's everybody this morning? Sublow Saint, good morning. Yeah, we're moving things around a little bit on the stream, so sorry for starting late. We're about 4 minutes late, but good morning. Yeah, check out Boothie on YouTube. No, so we did some rearranging. I have an overhead cam mount now, so the face cam looks a little bit different angle. And then we have a little bit different angle on what we are seeing the printer and stuff with. So good morning, Kegel. So we're going to have a view like this. We're going to look at the Trident. And then we have, we can change that to be down on the desk pretty close. We can have that to be close in on the tool head. So if we do end up printing today, which I don't think we will, we'll be able to see that a little closer as well. So still playing with some stuff. Didn't get out here as early as I had wanted. And so I had some audio issues again and again and again. So lesson learned, I need to get out here a little bit earlier to tackle some of that. Good morning, Sparks on Tap and Rob C. Thanks for joining. No, so I added some flavor to the background now. So we have this print and this print. So this is like Zombie Superman. And this is Zombie, or sorry, no, that's, I forget that guy's name. But they came out really good. Just playing around with the Elegoo. So if you want to see that. Came out really good. We'll check out the other cam here and flip you guys around to be able to see this. So if I get it pretty close on there, I printed with the dual color silk filament. So you get like this green and kind of a pink purplish look. It came out really great, even on these overhangs back here. So silk will show imperfections, and what you're seeing is just different colors of the tri-extrusion filament. But the overhangs came out pretty great all the way around this. And it is a two-part print, but even in like the mouth, right, where there's some overhang in there, there's no support. Come on, focus. There was no support there, and it still came out pretty damn good. Just a little bit on the teeth. But yeah, overall, really, really good. I think that guy needs to see a doctor. Yeah. Superman, Zombie Superman's from like a, I don't know what you want to call it, but like a alternate universe, I guess. And then this one's actually resin. This is not FDM. This is a resin print. Looks great for no support, yeah. But yeah, so what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to turn the volume down. I see I'm clipping a little bit. Hopefully I'm not blowing out your eardrums here. But where we left off last week is we got stuck on the shell command stuff. So the programming of the Raspberry Pi and trying to get the box turtle to talk to the Pi. That was a little stressful and we didn't get through it. So we're going to play with some of that today, and we'll use the hive mind to see how far we can get with all of that. So I was out here a little bit yesterday. I'm just going to move this up. I can't really see myself. How am I doing? Making it. So we'll play with some of that. We'll get into some shell script and see what's going on. Hey, Thunder Keys, good morning. Got the man here. I'm going to probably need you, hopefully not, but we'll see how we go. Where we left off was in MOBA extern, and we had a lot of trouble trying to get things set up here. I'll turn that off so we could see what's going on. Yeah, so where we left off was kind of in here, and probably halfway through the instructions is where we were. So we'll get back to that here in a second. So going through Chrome, we did a lot of this already, just going through the instructions and how it works. We got to the clipper add-on. We did some of that. And then we just clicked over to the docks. And so we got through the buffer. I installed the turtleneck yesterday, and that went well. I just needed to solder up the 2 end stops and then plug things in, and then plug in the box turtle itself. The cable that we used and we built last week, I installed that one, connected that to the printer, and then I got the CAN bus expander installed. So I found that, put that on the printer, had to print a a mount for it, some sort of thing to secure that into the bottom of the printer, and I had to end up making something custom to make it fit in there because I'm using the Zyltech inverted electronics. So we made that happen and then got all of the CAN connections done. If I remember from last week, we did not flash catapult to the board all the way because we couldn't pull the UUID out of it. So we may have to start from the beginning for some of that, but we'll get through it here. Yep, so I did all this stuff. I thought about using my Turtleneck 2.0, but then I realized that I needed to run it on USB, and I already do not have extra USB ports. So I need to get a powered hub and put that in there as well. It's just more crap to put in the bottom of the printer. But nonetheless, I just used the traditional Turtleneck 1.0, and that's what I installed. We still have to do all of this stuff, and we have to do some config here, some optional stuff. Ports look like blockhead faces on the diagram. Yeah, they kind of do. They kind of do. So we got to get through some of these configuration stuff. But probably the best place to start is going to be over here and just kind of start from the beginning. I know that we flashed the board, but getting it to talk to Clipper and all that is kind of where we need to start. So I did do the Filamatrix. So I went through this guide, and I chose to install the Galileo 2 version, and that seems to be working fine. I'm going to have to put the parking positions in there and the cutting positions and all that. Hopefully we'll get there. But it worked just as well as I thought it would. I mean, I'm not seeing any issues right now. I am running the Rapido version 2 on there, the ultra high flow. So it does look like that is supported. And I printed all these parts. Everything is installed. I printed it with these settings, sure. The bomb was really cool. So I ended up getting, if you're not familiar, I ended up getting this. So let's see. I got this kit from Isaac's Tech. It's a Filametrix kit, excuse me, Filametrix kit. But a lot of the hardware in here can be used for Filamatrix, which is a different thing. But we ended up getting a bunch of extra bobs and ends. It even came with a few blades. So you end up with 3 blades that you can use for your cutter. So if you want to support Isaac's Tech, they do have a kit like this that you can get. Yeah, so we'll go back to our Chrome tab here and continue on. So we did do the interactive manual. That was super helpful for me. And all the photos and being able to turn things around was key to understanding how it's supposed to go. I think originally I put a heat inset where that spring goes. I thought it was a heat inset hole and I wasn't really following along. So I put one in there and had to pull it back out. So don't make that mistake. It is for the spring. It is not for a heat inset. Went through, I do have backers on my machine. And so I ended up using this larger version. There are 2 versions of this. One's a little smaller, and then one's a little larger. I used the big one, and I put it on the front of my machine, so front left side. And I think you can see it. Let me see. I think you should be able to see it here if we go to the printer. You can see it sort of there on the left side behind the left front motor. Good to learn little hiccups. Yeah, I'm always doing things wrong initially and then having to backtrack just a little bit. I know, Rob, if every manual was that way, we'd be a lot better off. Yeah, so I mounted mine up here like this. And then now this is kind of where we are, the configuration side of things. So now that it's installed, configure your software to leverage it. If you're using the Clipper add-on, you'll need to configure the locations and to actuate the cutter arm. For further guidance, you can also see the Voxel initial startup guide. And then it has you go through some other stuff here. So we'll go over to our Clipper add-on, and then just to be sure, we'll open up that startup guide as well. All right, so I'm going to start from the beginning of this because I don't really remember where we left off. We had a lot of trouble, and I kind of got a little behind and kind of messed up there. So we'll just start over from the beginning. Let me get you guys over to Mobile Extern. So this is where we are. I'm going to be behind the scenes. I can't do dual screen very easily on this, so I'm just going to be copying, pasting things from off screen over here. Maybe I can get you a small Chrome window here. Let's see. Let's add that. Do that one. I'm trying to add you a Chrome window here so that you can still kind of follow along with what I'm doing. Here we go, something like that. And then we'll resize that to make it make sense. We'll just kind of put that down here. Sweet. And then that goes there. Ooh, maybe not there. We'll put it there. All right. So that's where we are. And this is supposed to be the MOBA X term, but we'll do it this way. We'll change this real quick. Sorry, things kind of crapped the bed this morning, and we're starting over a little bit. So, sorry, team. I don't know what I did here. Let's see. Let's change this back to what I had. Just having a hard time. There we go. Something like that. Oh, why does this got to be so difficult? Let's get rid of this. Yeah, so I'm not even going to mess around with that right now. But, yeah. There's our window. We can turn this one off. There we go. All right. So that looks a little better. And we'll do it this way. Change this to something else. That. Here we go. I think I got it now. My bad. There we go. So you'll kind of be able to follow along with the directions down here as we're putting in. But depending on how big your screens are, you may or may not be able to see that. So I apologize. But what I'm doing behind the scenes is just kind of copying what I see on the page. So it tells me to install the plugin, should have prereqs installed. I do have Clipper, I do have Moonraker, and I do have Mainsail already good to go. I've already done the install JQ and Cardini, and then we ran the install AFC, excuse me. So we can run that real quick just to see what happens. So I ran this. It's checking, it's telling me that things are good to go. And so here we go. It says that, what was the CanHub board that I posted a pic of earlier? That is that's the Mellow CAN bus extension. So it's the one that we looked at on stream last week that you can get from AliExpress for something like $5. And that just allows you to have, I think, four additional CAN ports. All right. But in MOBA Xterm, it's saying the Clipper add-on installation detected true, so we have done that. Force update required false. I don't know if that should be true. Maybe I don't want to update it. Could probably break things. Good morning, Keela. And then just to make sure, we'll go ahead and update this. And then update again. And it looks like that worked. Like there's no updates to do. Hey, Jeremy. Good morning. Yeah, so we've already updated this. There's nothing for us to do as far as this part. So we can exit out. And then we'll go home. Next step says to do updates. That's exactly what we just did. So we should be good there. And then the update process should be non-destructive. And will not overwrite any existing configuration files without your permission. If you run into an issue, you may need to comment out the AFC plugin software and rerun install script. This can be accomplished by commenting out the lines in your printer config. Once the plugin is updated, please uncomment the lines in your printer config. Okay, we can do some of that. Take you guys over to Chrome here. This is what we have. I know that we commented this out last time because we're having issues. I did not have the box turtle connected to the machine, and so it wasn't seeing that there was anything there, and it was just throwing a Moonraker error. So what I ended up doing was commenting out all of the Moonraker AFC stuff, and that seemed to allow Moonraker to boot. So I'm not going to enable that until the last minute there, and I'm hoping that we can do it. All right, so right here we have the AFC included, already good to go. I thought that I had moved it to the top where it should be, but it seems like it moved it back to the bottom because it's not here anymore. I'm gonna do that. I don't like the includes at the bottom. It's just my preference, but it's easy enough to just copy and paste this up here like so. We'll save and restart that. Good morning, Jerry. I watched a little bit of your stream yesterday for the first time in a while. Uh-oh. No, it was a good stream. I wanted to jump on with you, but I didn't have my camera set up. I had taken everything down, disconnected everything because I was installing an overhead kind of mount so that I can get things up off the desk and be able to have more room down low to work on stuff. Okay, so going through, it says the script will automatically install the majority for me. Prior to starting, please review the config located over here at hardware and ensure all the pins are correct for your specific hardware. Okay. For my specific hardware, I have an what is it, an SB2209 tool head board on mine. And that's what, so my challenge was finding an open pin port for that. I did not use the probe port. I ended up using, there's an additional port on there that you can use for whatever IND is or a fan. I chose to use that port because it was the closest to the where that end stop is at. And that's GPIO 6 for me. And so that's what I used in my settings here. So I don't need to be in here. I need to be in AFC and then hardware. And so this is what I did. So the GPIO 6 is what I use for my extruder. I think that's correct. I think that's what we were supposed to do. I really liked how when I was running the shell command that it asks you all those questions and you just put that stuff in there and it pre-populates the macro, or I'm sorry, the config for you. All right, so we did that, and then ensure all the pins are correct. So all the pins. Yep, that makes sense for me. We put this advance and the trailing end stops exactly where the pinout diagram told us to put them, so that should be fine. And then review information in mandatory config changes section. Okay, what is that? Prior to operation, do all these checks. Updates must be made to your system. Okay. Default name with AFC Lite will be AFC Hardware AFC config. I think we'll probably come back to this as we start to commission and put things online. Right now, I just need the printer to boot. I don't want to do manual because we're already good to go. Moonraker. That's where we kind of ran into trouble last week. I put this into my Moonraker config, and then everything shit the bed and didn't want to work. So as soon as I commented all this out, and I think I still have it commented out here, as soon as we commented that out, like that, everything came back to life and it worked. So I'm a little nervous to undo that. But all these mandatory config changes down here, I think we need to do those. So update these values. Update the following values in the hardware config. Tools, I guess that's station. This value is the length from your tool head sensor to your nozzle. I have no idea. Are there like common values for specific configs? If there are, I'm not sure where that lives. It's the commissioning guide for some of them. You don't need the update stanza in Moonraker. That's good because it made my stuff break. Not hard break, but like it wouldn't boot once I put that Moonraker stuff in there. Okay, but you're saying, Thunder Keys, that it's in the commissioning guide. Okay. Is it in this more information here? Or maybe it's over in this docs folder. Command reference, calibration, maybe over here. It's on the main box turtle GitHub under initial startup. Okay. Initial startup, all right. Main box turtle page, waste management, prime, enclosure, manual, printed parts. There's so much information. Very, very detailed guides everywhere. Initial startup. Clearly you need a link. It might help. That might help. The problem is you guys have documented so well that things make sense for you all. It's not maybe as intuitive for someone that doesn't really know where to go. Maybe if it were labeled like step 1, do this, step 2, do that, step 3, go here. Maybe that would help. I don't know. But I think this is where we want to be. Problem right now is that we spoiled everyone. You did. You did. That manual is amazing. I wouldn't really change anything about the manual. I love the manual. It's just the commissioning side of it is a little more challenging by design, right? This is all custom work. So you need to know a little bit about a little bit to be able to be successful, but I don't know. It's fine. Just, again, maybe it's like step 1, do this, step 2, do that. Anyway, calibrate to existing printer extruder. I've already done that, so my stuff was set up beforehand. I've already done the tuning guide and I've already done the rotation distance, so I should be good to go with all of that. Ensure minimum system requirements. Okay. That's going to be AFC add-on, so we already have that. If you're on Clipper, Calico 12, but running whatever else, you can recreate it with the following. This guide is linked on the last page of the general assembly. It is. You're correct. It is. I think that's why when we started, I was already on that page because that's the last thing I clicked and then I walked away. I didn't really want to do any of the setup without being on stream. I had considered it kind of cheating and getting ahead, but I really wanted to walk through it to capture any challenges that we have. Because while I'm smart on certain things, Linux and things like that is not my strong suit. More of a mechanical guy, figure that kind of stuff out. This software, still learning. I'll say it that way. Okay, so I guess I'm running these commands. Requires a minimum. Yeah, so I have that, as well as corresponding environments. Pretty sure I have all of that. After recreating it, you may need to reinstall any custom add-ons such as, oh, that sounds painful. I don't want to run that. Sure you have a clean functioning clipper installed with all these minimum requirements met before proceeding. I'm pretty sure I've met all those requirements. My printer is fully up to date as of yesterday when I was out here playing around. The only addition that we did was add the box turtle and plug things in. Okay, connected with CAN bus or USB. I chose CAN bus. If I choose CAN bus, do this stuff. So we'll do that. And then further details can be found over here. I didn't find that very useful for me. I think it's maybe a little bit out of date. The esoterical suggestion worked much better for me. And I know for sure that we ran this catapult config stuff. Is it soup yet? I'm not sure what that means. I think you mean, is it ready to go? It's not. It's not. All right, so we'll do some of this. Sudo apt upgrade, just to be sure. We'll start from the top and work our way down. All right, so we'll do that. Stephen Machado, thanks for being here. All 14 of you are appreciated. Should probably move this window a little bit, yeah? So you guys can see what's going on. Move that over here. All right. And then we're going to run the upgrade portion. Done. Yeah, so like I said, everything should be updated, and then we'll install Python 3, which also should be good. Yep, already newest. So we're as up to date as we're going to get, which is great. And then we have to install Catapult. Should already have that on there, but we'll copy it nonetheless, and we'll run it anyway. Yep, so already good to go, and we only changed 2 files. So it's probably just a simple update here. And then it's going to have us go into Catapult and make menu config. I'm really sure that we already did this when we flashed the board last week. So I'm probably going to skip through this and go down to the point where we test to see if it's talking to each other. So I'm going to go down to Catapult is now installed. And then from here, it's asking me to shut down and power off. Again, we've already done all that. Take out any jumpers on the tool head and wire it up. That's what I did yesterday off stream was I knew that we had flashed everything. So I had pulled back, turned the printer off, installed the CAN expander, connected the box turtle to the CAN, and then finished up the tool head cutter, and then I walked away. So we should be at this point right here where we're checking CAN devices, but I think we can cheat a little bit and just do one of those. CAN refresh. Hey, look at that. I've got 2 clipper devices. I want to say those are already in my printer config for the tool head, board, and my catapult. Or sorry, not my catapult, my cartographer. So if I do that again, seeing, yeah, so that's my catapult right here. Oh, sorry, catapult. My cartographer, words matter. That is my cartographer, and this is my tool head board. So that tells me that it's not picking up my box turtle at all right now, but it is picking up the other connections that I have. Okay, so maybe we need to flash again. That's good to know. So come back over here, we'll do that. And we'll come back into SSH and we'll put that there. And I'm seeing the same two boards and nothing else. That's interesting. I can see that I have light on the... I can see that there are lights on in the box turtle itself, so it is getting power. What I'm not seeing is where I go from here. I should see found UUID with application catapult. I don't have that. Interesting. Well, let's run through the troubleshooting portions. So if you do not see it, is the buck switched to buck? Yes, sir, it is. Switched over to buck. I can verify real quick. You aren't going to be able to see it without me moving the camera significantly. The printer is a 350, so that box turtle is so tall that it's just out of frame on the camera here. But I can, as soon as I find my tools, I can look in there just to make sure. But my brain tells me I can't be that dumb. I know that I double checked that last week when we were doing this and I haven't flipped it back. So even yesterday when I was in here doing stuff, I had not flipped it back. So yes, I can see that the switch is to the left. Both of your panels, your bottom panel with the quick access door. So your bottom panel with this quick access door, money. So yeah, it is flipped to buck. All right, if you do not see this and you're using Canbridge main board, then you may see your main board with that. This is different, not what we're looking for. Then go back to installing catapult section and try again, making sure the catapult make menu config settings are absolutely correct for your tool head board. All right, I think we should just start over then because I didn't see any of that. That's so painful though, because there are very small buttons on the board that I have to push to put it into boot mode. That's annoying. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. So if we come in here and we do this. You did CAN bus for the tool heads when you tried it, and 2.4 never update it. Yeah, as soon as you update it, it's going to break all the things and you have to flash all the things again. It's not super difficult, but you do have to come back in here. You have to rebuild it, and then you can flash it over CAN. So it maybe takes 5 or 10 minutes. It's not super painful, but the guide, Esoterical's guide, is pretty good at guiding you through all that. Hey, Bearcool, thanks for joining. All right, so this is telling me I need a, it's saying, sorry, I'm just trying to get back to the AFC light stuff here. So we have the STM32, we have the 723, the BX, the 25 megahertz crystal. We're looking at PB8 and 9 is correct. 128 is correct, 1 million, supporting the double click of the reset button, and then status LED PA13. So all of that should be correct for what we need to run our catapult. So I'm just gonna quit out of here. Don't want to save, sure. And then we're gonna make clean to clean out anything that may be in there from before. And then we can make this is AFC light, a wave 3, where you have to do the internal clock. I didn't know that there was multiple waves of things. And I'm just following the guide that Esoterical provides on the Chrome page. So as I look through his guide, this is what I'm doing. So putting in the DFU mode, I know that we had flashed it previously. I'm hoping I can just double click that reset button to make it a lot easier and then move on. I almost wish that the switch itself and those buttons were swapped places so it'd be easier to get to. That is for Turtleneck Pro, not AFC Lite. Got it. Yeah, it'd be a little easier to get to from the bottom if these were swapped. But, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how often you're using them, I guess. All right, so we did all that, and then we did the make. And things are done. So it says to flash your tool head board to the Pi, or connect it to the Pi via USB, then put the toolhead board into DFU boot mode. Your toolhead board user manual should have instructions on doing this. I want to say that I need to flip back over to 5 volt to do that. I don't know. It is receiving 24 volt right now, so it should be able to have enough power to flash. All right, see you, JPP. Thanks for being here. So I got to connect this again via USB. Let's see how that works out. Gonna lose my printer cam, but that's okay. So the top right corner, you're gonna lose that. That's the one I'm gonna unplug to put this box turtle back on the USB. Can anybody tell me if I need to flip the 5 volt again? Take it from buck back to 5 volt? Does anybody know? And it's just a matter of how you're powering the O board. I think that means board. I'm powering it via CAN, so it's got 24 volt and it's got CAN connections. So I'm thinking the same thing, Thunder Keys. I think it'll be fine. I don't know that I need to add an additional power source. I'm gonna let this hang off the printer a little bit so I don't crush that USB cord. But sweet. So box turtle's up top. I got USB plugged in. It's connected to my Pi. I should be able to just flash these things pretty straightforwardly. So now I want to put it into DFU mode, and I remember that. So let me get something non-conductive, like these ceramic tweezers here, and let's see if I can reach the... Nah, I don't think I can. Not the way that it's set up right now. I don't know that I can reach the... Oh, that's annoying. Even with Boothie's great panels on here, I still don't have access. That's bad on me for putting the bottom panel on there. Tell you what, let's see if we can turn this camera a little bit. So you're not looking at me, you'll be seeing what I'm seeing. Camera's kind of in the way, so I apologize. I'm not going to move all that stuff, but you can kind of see the box turtle, how I'm trying to do this. It is not... it is not super friendly here. DFU done fucked up. I agree with that. What's up, Shrimp Father Martin? How are you, sir? Good morning. So I'll give you back the face cam. You get to see this beautiful mug. All right. I'm gonna take the bottom panels off of this again because I cannot access that reset button without taking the panel off. Yeah, Martin, we're trying to get the AFC Lite to connect to the printer. Right now, we're not seeing a UUID, so without that, nothing's going to work. And I'm using CAN bus, so things should be talking to one another. Just try to do this without dropping screws. I know on one of the streams I was saying like you should always work close to the desk. And I am just kind of not. Oh, I dropped one. That belongs to the earth now. Let's see, we can do some of this. So these are just a button head, like M3 by 6 or something like that. So they're pretty small. And I've already dropped one of them. We'll find that guy later. Save that one though. All right. Bottom panel comes off like so. And now I can reach up in there, hopefully, and click that button twice. All right. I'll tell you what, let's unplug this. Take that out of there so I can take the panel all the way off. Unplug that back in, like so. I wish I knew that it was actually in DFU mode by like a blinking light or something. Okay, I'm seeing one now. I think that means it's correct. We'll check with LS USB here. I'll tell you what, this is getting a little crazy. Move this up a touch so I can see this better. Something like that. And then you all can see it a little better as well. And we can hide that for now. Cool. All right, so I'm going to just do what the guide is telling me to do here, and it's saying to do a LS USB to be able to check to see that it's in CAN bus, whatever, and I'm not seeing it in DFU mode. Interesting. I'm using that fancy cable that we used last time, the one that we proved worked, because my other one was not good and did not connect. But this one doesn't seem to be doing that either. Do I need to be in 5-volt mode? I'm still thinking about that. Thunder Keys, I know you said it doesn't matter, but I'm double clicking that button and it is not working. Let's see. I'll just try it. We'll put it in 5-volt mode and try it again. Still not going. Let's click the button twice. And I am clicking the correct button. It's the button on the right. Still not going in. Double clicking the button is after you have capital. Yes, I swear that we did it before though. I swear that we had it on there. I could be wrong. I know that we had tried to flash it last week and it seemed to work. Sorry, I'm just trying to unplug the PTFE so that I can kind of put this up on end and get a better shot at it without having to continue to flip that. I really need a quick disconnect on the printer here. Try to get you a cam for take you back to Chrome, and then I'm going to steal this one and put that over here so you all can see what I'm doing here. There we go. And then we'll move this guy up just a little bit more, and then hopefully you can see all the things that I'm seeing. Yeah, okay. So let's move this. Yeah, so you can kind of tell I got the box turtle flipped up over here, and that thing is accessible-ish. So I'm gonna try to get my fingers in there. And I know it said hold the boot, press the reset, and then continue to hold boot for a few seconds. It's going to be on CAN bus, not LS USB. Yeah, so I thought I had flashed it already. But it would also show me, if it was on CAN bus, Thunder, wouldn't it show me that when I am querying the devices? Wouldn't it list it? And it was not listing anything. So there it is in DFU mode now. So we're just going to start over, I think. Cool. So I have one in DFU mode. It has me doing this long command here. And then we're going to do that. Invalid. File successfully downloaded. Error during download gets sent. Do you have another board in CAN bus on this printer? Where are your resistors? I do have another CAN bus board, the tool head board on the stealth burner is CAN bus, and there is a resistor on there, I believe. And I did not put a resistor, and there's a resistor, sorry, there's a resistor on the box turtle as well, on the AFC light. I mean, but I'm seeing that it downloaded successfully. Is there a resistor on your main board? The main board is running CAN bridge mode, and it is a Manta V2. I'm trying to look down in here and see if I can give you an answer. Yes, I do have a resistor on the main board. There's not a U2C. It is a basically a CAN expander. So it takes one CAN input from the board to this expander, and then it basically breaks it out into 4 different. So I have one too many. Which one should I remove? Should I remove the tool head or from the AFC? One on the tool head board, one on the AFC light, none on the Manta. Okay, I'll take the Manta off. That's easy enough. Manta removed. Thanks for that. And so now if I run that same command, will it... Yeah, it's still not going. No DFU capable USB device available. Maybe because we already flashed it. So looking back at the instructions, it's out of DFU mode. Ah, that's painful. Okay, well, if we flashed it, we can put it back into DFU mode, yeah? I mean, it's still flashing an LS, I'm sorry, I don't know, we'll press forward. So I switched it back over to Buck just now. File download successful. I'm good, thanks. See, I knew you were gonna come in clutch on this one. I appreciate you. Definitely helping out. All right, so I'm already flashed, and looking back at Chrome here, I'm already flashed. This is where I'm at. So I ran that long command, and then I got the successful. My output looked the same as this example, so I'm gonna skip past the 2040 stuff because that's not what we're using. And it's saying Catapult is now installed. So I need to basically shut down the Pi and turn off the entire machine. I can do that. And that is powering down. All right. Okay. All right, we are powered down. Gonna turn off the machine and give that a few potatoes. Good chat today. Good chat. No, these instructions are clutch. I think I just got confused, kind of going through so many different pages and different commands and things that I'm supposed to be doing all at the same time. I think it's just a lot all at once, and I got a little sidetracked. Plus, it's not as straightforward when you're trying to talk to a camera and keep things going while trying to read and flip between screens and all that stuff. So it's definitely challenging, but a good time. So that should be enough time to let things reset. We'll turn the printer back on. And things are powering back up. So once I see those lights come on, so I'm looking at the top screen here, the top right corner. As soon as those lights come back on, this should be good to go. That tells me that all things are talking and connected to one another. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm waiting for something in this top right corner to kind of flash, and then I'll know. All right, looks like printer is almost booted. I did put it back in buck mode so I can remove this USB cable. Let's leave that there for now in case we need it. Box turtle turned back upright. Okay. That's odd though, like my clipper screen's not coming back on. Okay. So back over to Chrome. Things are trying to start. It's probably going to give me an error. Okay, so we did that, and then I need to run this can command, but I think it's easier if I come into config. We'll come down to where all of our things are. That way I can cross-reference here. And then I just refresh my can. Devices, I'm seeing the same 2 devices. When my clipper screen stalls, I restart with foul language. Mine takes a little bit longer. It won't come on until the printer either boots or it throws an error like it's showing right now. And then mine will come on. But mine is an HDMI 5. I don't know if they work differently than what you might be using, Steven, but it's kind of normal for mine. The only thing I don't like is that it sticks out so far on the bracket that it's on. I bumped it and broke it, and I need to print a new one. It's still connected for now, but it's a little floppy. So I guess we will run this command just to be sure. Let's see, restart that. We'll run that command. HDMI 7 on a V-core, kind of janky. Yeah, so these Catapult UUIDs are for my board and my tool head. It's not picking up the one from the box turtle at all. So I'm just going through the wiring a little bit, and I can't see anything that looks terrible. I mean, everything looks fine. I took my time making it yesterday. I just don't know why it's not picking it up. I am getting power to the box turtle. There are blue lights on. There's a flashing light. Is that normal? Just reset the thing, making sure that the cabling is pressed in all the way. I mean, it's one solid cable. There are no connections between where it connects to the CAN bus hub and the AFC. Hey, there we go. I don't know what I did, but now it's showing. Also, you made sure your bus speeds match. Yes, everything is on 1,000,000 Thunder keys. I think so what I did is I just hit the reset button on the AFC light. I saw a blinking light, which normally indicates that things are in DFU mode. So I just reset the board real quick, and that allowed it to, I think, connect. So I'll take it back to Chrome so we can add this into my hardware. Where does it go? It's not the right file. No, not yet. Okay, I'll wait. You have to flash clipper. Correct. I wanted to like just put it in there and then just like comment it out. You know what I mean? So I want to just drop it in here before I forget it or it gets buried. And then I can just do something like this and we'll come back and do it. It's just the way I like to do it. But I'm tracking what you're saying. We need a flash clipper onto the board. You're correct. Now installing clipper, we're going to change over to that. And we'll go here. And then we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to make clean. Sorry, we're going to set it up for our box turtle stuff. So this guy will come down to the clipper config. And this one tells me I want STM32 with the 723, 128, 25. So basically the same as we did for I'll go ahead and make clean now. And then we'll make menu config here. STM32. STM32. And then we want the 723, so it's the same as the BQBX. Imagine that. The BQBX is like 2 years old. They were using this chip 2 years ago. 128, this needs to be 25 megahertz. This is 8 and 9. 1 million like before. And just to be sure, I'm going to cross-reference here. 32, 723, 128, 25, 8 and 9, 1 million. No GPIO pins. Cool. So that should be the setup that we need. And then Q, Y to save. We'll make clean once more just to be sure. You have to make Clipper firmware on the Clipper folder, right? Yes, you do. If you make it anywhere else and then you go back to Flash, it's not going to flash it from the proper directory, and you don't know what you're going to get. So if you don't make it in the Clipper folder, you're either going to have to change your command to direct it to the proper folder, or it's going to flash improperly. And I know that question wasn't for me, but chat is a little bit slow, so I just wanted to get that out there. So while that makes, we'll read ahead a little bit. Yeah, so we followed the Clipper config here. We'll go back to the tool head flashing. We did the make menu config. Cool, everything's at 1 million. Let's see, once you have the firmware configured, run that, run the make. That's what we're doing right now. And then use Catapult to flash Clipper. So we're gonna stop the Clipper service. Okay, flashing, sorry. The making is done. We'll do stop Clipper. Cool. Next command is something very long. It's your can command to query all your devices. I can see mine there. It's that 8 Charlie Charlie Alpha, that top UUID. And then next we have this other command that's also very long, but this is going to pull the Clipper .bin file that we just made in the folder that we just made. And bear cool, this is what you were asking about. So this is the command. If I wanted to, if I flashed, or sorry, if I made Clipper in the incorrect directory and I did not make it in the Clipper directory, I would need to change this portion right here of my directory, and I would need to tell this command where I made my file to. So I would change this portion here to tell it where my clipper.bin file is. Cool, so then I'll come in here, just highlight that, right click to paste, and then there it goes. It's flashing, flashing, done. Sweet. All right, back over to Chrome. So we did that. So once you flash, you can run this command to make sure that we are seeing a catapult node like the example here. So we'll run that. And there it is, running Clipper. So before it was running Catapult, if I look up top, and then down low, down low it's showing me that I'm running Clipper now, which means that we have successfully flashed Clipper to the board. I should be able to go in to the config and uncomment my UUID here, and they should talk. So if I save and restart, we should get connection on Moonraker now, instead of getting the Turtle 1 error. I know I just saved that. Save and restart. You're not gonna work with me, okay. Okay, so we did this, did all of that. Says Clipper. Clipper is now installed. You can run the Clipper. Oh, we have to restart Clipper. Forgot about that. Can now run the Clipper. CAN bus clear to retrieve. Yes, we got to start this last command. Yeah, give it a minute. Yeah, it's we never restarted Clipper, so I have to do this last command here. And where did I terminate it? There we go. We got some light. Can you guys see that? We have lights on the printer. That means it booted. And I'm seeing 4 red lights on the box turtle. I want to move the camera so bad, but it's going to be shaky and make everybody sick. So what I'll do instead is I'll zoom this camera out a little bit and we'll tilt it up. And then hopefully you'll be able to see what I see. There it goes. We have 4 red lights on top of the box turtle. All-wheel drive Trident. Yeah. 4 red lights. I wish... I like the 350. It is so tall. There are 4 lights. Yes. My soldering hack job actually worked. I'll tell you guys, that was the first time that I had soldered LEDs. I was super stoked about that. I'm super excited. So now we have all of the things. That is so good. We fought through it. I love it. Persistence wins today. Okay, but we need to go back and finish. So I'm going back into, we can close this one. Congrats, everything is now flash. Move on to the final steps just to make sure your CAN network is running. Everything is coming up. Millhouse. Never heard that term before, but I like it. Felt the same way on your first build. I feel so Thunder. I feel that way every time I build any printer. Did I wire it correctly? Am I going to get blue smoke? There's always this anxiety before I first turn it on, and it's the same every time I flash anything with CAN. It's like, I hope that my wiring is good enough. I hope I didn't miss a crimp. All the things. I'm super pumped. I need to add some settings to talk. Already done all that. I put my UUID in there. Toolhead board is good to go. We included all the stuff thanks to the script that you guys provided. Things are already set up. It's just running through the config side of it now to account for the hardware that we have installed. So I believe I'm good with all of that. I'm going to move these over out of the way. Filamatrix. We'll keep that up for now. I think we still need that. Anyway. All right, so all of that work just got us through this first step, which is great. Now, further details regarding can be found over here in the manual. Like I said, I don't know that that was super helpful for me, but we'll keep moving on. So after flashing and setting up connections, you should be able to either obtain the UUID or the device serial path for the AFC light. Already done it. Ensure you have these values before you proceed. They are required. Yes, we got it. Printer's good to go. We can see all of the things. There's the Turtle 1 running Calico and no load. So we are good to go. I'm gonna plug back in the webcam here so that I don't forget. And then just in case, reinstall that bottom panel. I don't want to be moving things if we happen to get that far today and then catch on the panel and break something. So I'm just trying to move that out of the way. Cool. Good stuff. Error Turtle 1 upside down with the X. I love it. I love that. Webcam mic probably active. Okay. Let me see here. I didn't realize there was a mic on there. Are you hearing a bunch of extra noise? Or are you just hearing me moving things around? Reverb. Ooh. I'm sorry, I'm not... Echo? Not sure what I did here. I apologize, hold on, sorry. Let me turn things off, sorry. Is that better? I'm good now? Can you still hear me? How's that? Good, not good? Fixed? I don't know what we changed. I don't know what we did. Yeah, it's all good. I didn't change any audio, so I'm not sure what we heard. Maybe it was the scratching of me installing the bottom panel, the deck panel in the Trident. But I'm not seeing anything audio on my side, so apologize. But we are good. We get the beautiful error that is fully expected from what I understand. And we can press on, so. Hey, Iconic Fab. Hey, I just realized, man, that when I was playing around yesterday with the toolhead board, I actually used your Nighthawk Galileo 2 wire strain relief for the rear of the extruder. That is awesome. I used it for the SB2209 and it worked. So I have some of your parts on my machine. Error is not expected. Probably indicates an issue with one of the sensors. Probably. Like I said, it's a wiring hack job. If I have to go in and solder today, I am not doing that on stream. We'll do that afterwards. But we'll get there. Let's see. If you're using Filamatrix and are using toolhead in-stop sensors, make a note of what MCU pins those sensors are connected. For the pre-extruder gear sensor and post-extruder gear sensor, I only have the pre, so that'll be my pen tool end. Use these in the next step to properly install and configure. If you do not have a native toolhead filament sensor, you can either use an inline or the turtleneck. No, it will be pen tool start. Okay. Pre-extruder, yes. Sorry, did I say it wrong? Pre-extruder, yeah, it should be pen tool start. Box turtle works best with the add-on. We have that. We've done all of that already. I do not have a purge bucket. I do not have a wiper. We'll have to make some solution for that. These can all be changed later by editing the AFC config. Good to know. I got to use the Donatello parts. Yeah, there are a couple box turtle builds where folks have taken the Ninja Turtle colors and they've made their box turtle in those colors. And that's pretty cool. Thanks for being here, Lego Therapy. How'd your run go? How far did you get today? Is it only 7 or are we talking 8? After install, please ensure you update the following. So Turtle 1, the UUID we have done. And in hardware, we need the pen tool start as per Thunder Keys here, keeping me correct. So we'll go back here into machine, AFC, hardware. I'm good to go with the GPIO 6. That's the pin I am trying to use. We'll see if it works. In the extruder section, update the maxed extrude only distance value to 400. Okay. Extruder, max extrude only distance. Where are you? This guy here, I'm already there. So we already pre-gamed it. You had a crazy storm last night and somehow made perfect weather, 8.3. Very nice, 815 pace. I think I can only hold an 815 pace for roughly 5 before my legs don't want to do it. But I'm more of a low mileage kind of guy. I won't say I can't. I've done it from time to time, but 8 every day like that is too much for me. For best results, reboot after installing, include it. Yeah, we've already rebooted and stuff. Your pace is like 5 seconds. Hey, it's a start. You gotta get it up to 30 seconds and then a minute and keep going, keep going. All right, first self-test. Red, no filament loaded detected at the extruder sensor. That's what we're seeing. Green, filament loaded to the lane. Blue is to the tool head. And then white, it's in the process. Love it. On a self-test, yeah, so it was doing that. As soon as we connected and things lit up, it started making noise and spoolers were moving and all the things. All right. After the test completes, you hopefully see a picture of Happy Turtle in the console. We didn't. We got the dead turtle. Yeah, we got this dead turtle. Empty, ready for spool. Is that normal? Like T0 shows locked, not loaded, and then T1 shows empty? Is that normal? Cannot load while it's actively moving. Oh, I'm clicking it too fast. Empty, ready for spool is right. Okay, so 0, 2, and 3 are incorrect. Is that why I'm getting my dead turtle up here? I do feel like 0 may be triggering early. They may have the wrong pin assignment or a bad wire connection, or it was wired as normally open instead of normally closed. Okay. I would imagine bad wire connection, if anything at all, because I soldered and wired all of them exactly the same. So I'm using the 2 outside pins on all of them, and on the connection side, like of the board connection, they're all on the left hand and middle pins on the board. And I'm looking at it now, on the end stops themselves, it's all on the outside 2 pins. So I'm thinking maybe like a bad solder joint somewhere. But at least we got 1 of 3. That's 25% success rate. Set enable sensors in GUI to true. Enable sensors. Oh, you want me to run that command? That's what you're saying? Enable sense. No, that doesn't make sense. In AFC config. This guy here. Enable sensor GUI to true. I don't know if I'm seeing that at all. Oh, this guy here. We gotta uncomment. Okay, let's do that. Remember to hit the like button. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Right at the top. I seen it. Yeah, it was commented out. Got it. Save and restart. Okay. It is doing things, and it's lighting up red one by one. So that's good. Back to where we were. Locked, not loaded on number 1. Oh, sorry, T0. Yeah, so we're getting the same thing as before. I got a dead turtle. Man. Okay. Machine, probably. So find the panel that has the filament sensors. Find the panel that has the filament sensors. Expand miscellaneous? Sorry. This guy? Do you want me to turn these on? Machine, probably. Or miscellaneous. So your prep switches are not triggering. My prep switches are the ones that are, they need to be closed against the latch. So I think the terminology I'm not familiar with. So when I say latch, am I talking about the stuff on top of the turtle on top of the turtle that I can reach right now, or the stuff underneath under the panel? Because I think the thumb buttons, like the thumb switch part on the top, are called triggers. The little arms. Again, terminology under the panel. Okay. Under the panel. You're saying that these things underneath are not triggering? Or they should be triggered? I mean, they all seem to be triggered because when I press on them, the 4D2FL switches need to be pressed against the movable trigger when there is no filament. Okay. Again, me not understanding the terminology. So if I press on this top portion, kind of where my hand is right now, it is spinning the wheels and I can hear those things trying to load filament. And if I let go, it stops doing that. And it no longer tries to load anything. Yes, lane 2 is working correct. Okay, got it. So let's play with lane 1. So let me see if I can do this again. I press on lane 1, nothing happens. So I think I need to move that end stop under the bottom, under the panel. I need to move that end stop to where it is not triggered when I press on this. Reverse direction in software. I could do that. I could do that. I could also just move this a little bit. That seems fairly easy to do. To where it's not triggered. I probably do have it a little tight. If you wired them correctly, then don't reverse. Yes, track and thunder keys. So I'm just going to move the trigger here till it's not triggered. I think what happened is when I tightened this down with the screw, it moved it ever so gently. Now let's see if it triggers now when I press it. I mean, I can hear it clicking now. It wasn't doing that before, but it's not moving the wheels like it was talking about. Just verify that the lever is being triggered, not triggered based on the switch. Yes, tracking. That's what we're doing. The little arms that press the trigger are kind of fiddly. Yeah, I noticed that. Thunder keeps dealing with the Thundercats. Oh, what do we got over here? Clipper warning, recover velocity. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So should it be making that noise when I press on the trigger? Because I can hear it clicking. It's triggering that end stop when I press on it, but it's not moving like the other one. Look at the status of the switch when you move it, remove it. Like down here. Yeah, I got you. Sorry, chat's like 20-30 seconds behind, so I'm trying to keep up with you. And I'm trying to do stuff here. So let's see if I can trigger this. So I can trigger it with the thumb trigger. And when I do that, it's not changing anything. And this is lane 1. Because if I do lane 2, let's see if it changes. Yep, it did. Okay. Lane 1 here doesn't do anything. So either I have a bad wire or it's a bad end stop. Because I'll move it all the way out of the way. Like way far. And it doesn't change. So let's move this a lot. There we go. So I moved it way far for lane 1. I got it really loose. So bad solder joint, bad end stop. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, no, it changed. Yep, it just changed. There it goes. You see that? It just changed. Oh, that's great. I'm just dumb. I just need to make it do things and stuff. I'm gonna be quiet for a second so I can hear what's going on. And then if I trigger this, so I can hear the wheels going right now. Not as dumb as you. What was it? There are small end stops that trigger on the thumb trigger, and I had it where it wasn't releasing and triggering properly. So I'm adjusting those to be able to move. Let's see if I can move the camera here and show you what I'm doing up top. Let's see. So I know you can only see my face, and you can't really see what I'm doing up here on the box turtle because everything is down low, kind of underneath the machine. So what I'm going to do is move the camera arm a little bit. I apologize if it makes you a little bit sick, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to move this up top so you can see kind of where I'm going here. Sorry. And then I'll give you a close-up view as soon as I get it. I just need to create some cable space here. And then I'll move you down to where you can see, and we'll zoom you in. Just give me 1 second. All hail Thunder Keys. Yeah, Thunder Keys is saving the day. All right, let's move you down so you can see kind of in the box turtle here. And we'll give you the good camera. And then if you want, we can zoom you in, and I'll show you where I'm at. So zoom you in. And my wiring is not great. I know it. It's just kind of zip tied. I didn't shorten anything. But what I'm looking at is this trigger right there. That thing is not in the right position to trigger and untrigger as it should be. So the small end stop on top is remaining triggered when it should release and engage. So I'm adjusting that, and I'm going to block it, but I need to be able to get in there. And so when I loosen it and move it away from the trigger, it tends to release, and then I need to make it just so it engages, I think, right? So it's engaged, and then I push the trigger, and it works like it should. I can hear it moving. Yeah, easy fix, but it's a little bit fiddly trying to get in there, right? And if number 1's doing it, that means 3 and 4 are also doing it, and we have not even looked at those yet. So I'll move you up. We need to get under these 2 panels so that I can adjust these other 2 inside here. Sounds like a vacuum. That's actually my my printer itself. Because it's moving things and stuff, the cooling fans under the deck are the ones that are coming on, and that's what you're hearing. So I'm sorry if you're hearing that on camera. It's kind of loud. It's probably louder on camera than it is in real life. But I need to remove these panels. To get to those other triggers, they're probably too tight. And I think they're just remaining triggered when they should be released and open. But at least it's not a bad solder joint. Not as dumb as I thought I was. Trying not to lose all the hardware. So I like to keep them in the printed part. It's probably a bad idea to go ahead and put the bottom panel on. Lesson learned. I got excited. I wanted to hide the mess. I thought we were good, and we're not. Come on. What did I use? Like a M3x20 in there? All right. So that's that panel off. There's another trigger there. You can just barely kind of make it out at the top. I need to adjust that one. It's not bad, just an observation. Yeah. That's what always happens when you install panels. They cause you to have to go back in like a computer. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's okay. It's a wrist workout. So earlier, not earlier today, but like in an earlier stream, someone was asking about what the man, why is that not coming out of there? Someone was asking about how the kit was for the Zyltech Lab kit, hardware kit that we were using, and I said it was pretty good, and that holds true except for the stupid T-nuts. The T-nuts do not want to grip in the extrusions like they should, and so it's every time I remove a panel, they fall down, and that's exactly what just happened. They are those ball T-nuts that should remain in place, but they don't. Not in my kit, at least. So we're going to take a look at the yellow wires here, just the two for number 3 and number 4, so you can kind of see that here. And then this one up here, we need to adjust away from the trigger to create some space. So I'm going to do number 3 here. We'll listen for the noise. As soon as I move it away, it should start moving the wheels. Come on. They're so fiddly. And it's just a pain that it's over my head like that. Let's see if we got it. Is that number 3 going? I mean, I can hear it trying to go, but I'm not sure which one that is. That's got to be number 3. Yep, right there. I think maybe that's the trick a little bit, is have it plugged in so that you can hear the wheels. Yeah, maybe it's the extrusion, but maybe that's the trick, is to have things operating and working, and then adjust your in stops afterwards so that you can actually hear when they trigger, when things start to go. Also see the gear turning in the window or not. Yeah, that's number 3. I can see it in that window right there. You might be able to see it on camera. And then if I trigger, yeah, let's see. So no, it's not going. So I think I got it too far away. There we go. Now let's untrigger. Yep, you can see it in the window there. Sweet. So yeah, I think that's the trick, is to do this after you have things plugged in and talking and working, then go back in and adjust these little trigger arms so that they are working perfectly where you want them to be. So let's try that one more time. Yep, good to go. Number 4. Number 4 is a little easier to get at because you don't have all the wiring in the way, but it is way overhead. And I realize I'm blocking it, and I apologize, but it's really kind of the only camera angle we have right now. But we're trying to get at this top one here. So we just want to see if this triggers. Yep. Number 4 is going now. So that's good. So the way that I'm doing it is I'm causing it to start to feed, and then I'm adjusting it until the extruder gears stop, once they stop turning, I know that I've got it triggered like it should be, and then I'm just using my hand to trigger again. So let's see if it works. Yep. There we go. You can see the gears turning in the window there. So now that we have them all adjusted, I let that go and it stops, which is what we want. Test number 3, so it's not working. And I just triggered it. It's not turning. Not turning. Not turning. So does that mean number 3 is too close? Should work. It's not triggered. There it goes. Oh, it's that dwell time. You have to wait for it. So yeah, number 3 is working as well. Number 2 was always good. And then number, whatever. I feel like this wiring, I need to like tuck behind those PTFE tubes. I'm gonna make that adjustment just to kind of keep that a little cleaner. Keep it out of the way. We'll put it in behind number 3 there, just to keep that out of the way. And then of course, when we finally put the bottom panel back on, it'll be all tucked away as it should be. But now we're good. Oops, what was that? I thought something fell off. Thought I heard like a screw or a piece of hardware hit the top panel. Let's take you back down to where we should be. All right. So we'll go back down to this guy. You can see what I'm seeing here on the box turtle. Okay. Now, you see rad rig boxes? You do. There's a VCore 4 up there. Here, you can see. Yep, I think that's a VCore 3 actually up there. Yeah, that's my VCore 3 frame. It's a 400. And then for the keen eye, anybody know what that red thing is up there? If you're a car person, you might know what that is. It is the cover for a GTR. So it's from my my RB26. It's the last piece that I kept. I just kept the engine cover because I put a polycarbonate one on there that was clear, so you could see the cam gears turning, and I kept the cover. So I sold the car. It was my dream car, and I loved the hell out of it for about 5.5 years, 6 years. And then it just became time to let it go and let somebody else enjoy it. So there it is. Cool. You knew that? You were just testing me? Yeah, I knew you knew that. Okay, back to work here. Let's go back to Chrome. Things seem to be working as they should. I'm hoping that my turtle is alive now. Failed to load, check filament trigger. Yeah, I think that's expected. Cannot load. Yep, I was clicking away. Now that everything is good, we can go back to our initial startup guide. All right. So for the test, run the test spoolers. So we'll test lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just going to copy these commands, put them over here in console. Actually, let's go to the big one. See all the errors. Those are expected based on what I was playing around with. Test lane 1. They kind of move. Testing at full speed. I don't know what right looks like when they move, but they seem to work a little bit. Let's try that one more time. Are you guys seeing this? They're spinning a little bit. I did not see full speed 50, 30, and 10 though. It's like they're stuck. Let's see. I mean, they're kind of working up there. I may need to rebuild those. I need to do that anyway. All right, let's test lane 2. Two is kind of the same. If I do 3, 3 spins better, still not great. And then 4, not really spinning all that great either. We're gonna have to probably rebuild those. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to print some new parts for that. I thought I was gonna be smart and print things from TPU so they wouldn't be as noisy. I think, you know, looking back on it, maybe a bad call. I don't think those are moving like they're supposed to move. I can hear them trying to. It just seems like they're not engaging enough, or they are not tightened equally enough to be able to go. Actuating the trigger switch to begin pulsing that lane's extruder motor to load filament. Verify the switch being actuated is activating that same lane's extruder motor. Once all 4 lanes are confirmed to be activating the correct extruder, when the trigger switch is actuated, move on to the next step. All right, let's try the triggers. Give you back the main cam here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to give you back the main camera. Let's go to this guy. So I'm pushing on that. Nothing is happening. So maybe I need to readjust that one. Let's try number 2. I hear it trying to feed. I don't see any blinking. I was expecting blinking, but I don't see it. 3. Am I going too fast again? Can't tell. 3, again, not triggering like it should. 4. 4 works. 3. Nothing. 1. Nothing. Man, we got to go back in and adjust those again. That's annoying. I can see number 3. It seems to be releasing as it should. I don't know why it's not working though. It was just a minute ago. And then number 1 feels a little bit tight. Let's see. Yeah, we need to adjust number 1 a little bit. Number 1 is still kind of tight against the thing there. Let's see. Yeah, sorry I don't know all the terms on what these parts are called. It just seems a little convoluted for me. Okay, so that stopped. That worked. So number 1 seems to be fine now. I can hear the extruder trying to go. And it's working now. Number 3. Still not doing the thing, but it's still moving. So once that stops, let's try number 3. Nothing. So just number 3 again. I don't know how that changes from just turning it upside down or not, but number 3 needs to get adjusted as well. Okay, there's number 3. And trigger. going, but it's not stopping when I release. Wonder why. So it's too far away. Let's see, let's open. No. Close, nothing. Open. There it goes. Close, nothing. It's so finicky. It's just right on the edge. Open. Close. Open. Works. Close. Does not stop. All right. I think we got it. I think we got it. Let's see. There it goes. And it stops. Oh, faster. Liz, I know. I'm sorry. Trying. I'm just a dancing monkey. Trying to do the things for Pez Liz. All right, we got it. We had to adjust those triggers in there because they were just not playing nice. And I think we got it now. So, back over to my Chrome. Things look fine. All right. My wheels are not moving appropriately, but I think I need to, which means I have to run back through the whole process again after stream, but I think I need to rebuild those spoolers again with updated parts. Okay, so insert filament into the feeder tube. It helps to cut it at an angle and press through until the extruder motor catches the filament and load it further. You can press the filament through, but it feels like the extruder motor is pushing back instead of pulling it. Try reversing the derp in. If you're able to load filament into all four and get a green LED indicator and AFC status that the console reports no errors, move on to the next step. Okay, I have a bunch of filament laying around. Here's some orange. Yeah, so we'll go back to, take back to this guy. So I have some orange here from Polymaker. It's one of my favorite colors. It's a, let's see, this is a Polylite PLA. I forget there's not a color name on it though. Oh, here we go. It's called orange. It looks almost like a translucent orange. So I wasn't sure if it was called something fancy, but it's called just plain orange. And that is the color there. Just plain orange. Lost the end of that. There we go. So we'll put that into number 1. Where are we at? Oh, I totally messed that up. Where'd it go? Number 1. Oh, I didn't cut it. Let's cut it. Orange is quite translucent. I agree. It looks good though. I was using it, I think, for a Hue Forge print, which is why I have it. Is that supposed to be difficult to get through there? I cannot get that to feed through whatsoever. And we've trimmed it, but it just will not go through there. When I'm pushing on the trigger, it's triggering. I can hear the motor going, but the it won't feed into, will not feed into the, whatever you want to call it. So let's try number 2, see if we have the same issue here. Are the Bowden tube tapered? Yeah. You're talking about the one like inside the bottom of the extruder? Pretty sure I tapered all of them. But who knows at this point? I've messed up a lot of things so far, so why not tapering as well? Oh, that broke off. That's stupid. Yeah, I think this filament is very brittle. Pretty old. It's breaking on me. It's been out, probably open for 2 years. Yeah, so nothing is going through. Maybe I did not taper, and maybe that's the problem. TX orange. Yeah, it definitely is. It's just here, so like as I'm trying to feed it, it's just breaking pieces off. A little, probably brittle. Yeah, I think so. But I don't know if you guys are like me, but I don't like just throwing things in the trash. I'm pretty sure I could use it somewhere. In the meantime, I think I'm probably going to have to take apart the filament tubes and chamfer those, and or at least check to see if I chamfered them. I thought that I had done that, but for whatever reason, it's not feeding into where it should go. Let's see. Oh, I mean, looking, I know you can't really see that too well, but that's like a 4mm diameter tube. It's not small. If I tapered it even more, I may not even have a wall there. So I don't know why that's not going through. I can see through the I can see through the hole. I can see through the hole on that. It's just whatever reason not feeding through. Let's try to cut a piece off and see if I can feed it through now. As I push this through, let's move you out of the way. Yeah, so it won't even go in now, and the filament tube is removed, and it won't press through number one. So there's something in there that's not set up right, and it's not allowing filament to pass through the feeder, or whatever it's called. Like I can't even go in from the back. It won't allow it to go. Maybe bottoming should be 2mm. Yeah, I wanted it to be open so that it can get into the extruder pretty easily. So I used 4mm ID. Or sorry, oh man, what am I talking about? 2mm ID. So I did. That's what's in there, Boothie. Sorry, my brain's not working this morning. Yeah, whatever came in the kit is what's in there. It's the bigger of the two options that they included. It will not go through the trigger mechanism portion. Again, terminology, I don't know what it's called right now. But the light up portion, the feeder, whatever this is, it will not go through that. That's with the PTFE removed. And even if I chamfer this again, so that I have a very nice chamfer on there. Come on, focus. It's just too much going on. It doesn't know what to look at. Even though I have that very nice chamfer on there, I know that's hard to see. If I try to feed this through, and again, the PTFE underneath is not good morning zombie filament, yeah. So even if I try to push that through, it won't go. There's a blockage inside there that's not allowing it to go through. And that's true of every single one of these. Like it won't go in any of the things. Again, I don't even remember what those are called right now. But that's where we are. So we got a lot done in 2 hours though. Got the whole back end side of it, the firmware side done, complete. Got things lighting up and talking to one another. What's the problem? So we've had quite a few. Started off with we had to reflash the board. I know that we tried to do that last week. We didn't really become successful. So started off with that, went through relatively smoothly. And now we had to readjust all the triggers on 3 of the 4 lanes so that they would actually trigger and try to feed appropriately. Now we're running into the filament, although chamfered and everything, the filament won't feed through the feeder. There's some sort of blockage in the bottom of that I can't figure out without taking the extruder apart. And so what I did was remove the PTFE tube. So this is not even connected. So it's not hanging up on that one. That is open in the bottom. I should be able to feed right through the fitting and it won't fit through. Shut up and everything went to hell. Yes, you're the snake. You're the reason things aren't working. Yeah, and I don't know why. And it's the same on all 4 of them. So I would think that if it were just assembly processes or something, that maybe one of them would work. But all 4 of them won't allow filament to pass through. So I'm not sure why. We looked at maybe tapering. I forgot to taper or something. And that's not the problem, especially if I remove the tube. So I really don't know. And it's weird that it's all 4 of them. So it can't be parts. I reprinted all new parts over the last couple of streams. But no matter what I do, none of these will allow filament to go through. F3ID will bottom. Def 2, I mean, we'll get the caliper out. Let's see, let's get the caliper out and I'll tell you here in a second. Okay. All right, so we'll take the tube, we get the calipers out, zeroed. We'll see how big this is here. It's 3 millimeter. If 3ID will bottom. Okay. I do occasionally have issues with 3 millimeter PTFE. Copy all. The thing I'm running into is not the PTFE right now, because the PTFE is removed. Needs to be 2. Okay, I can swap it out off stream here if it needs to be 2. But with it removed like that, not even connected, I should still be able to put filament through there. The 2.5 centers the filament. I mean, okay, so I'll tell you what. I'll remove. So I just pulled this piece out of the trigger mechanism. So that's the same. That's that same 3 millimeter diameter stuff. Taking that out. I do have some 2 down here. So we've got some 2 millimeter diameter stuff. Remove the piece off. Okay. But I do have some 2 millimeter. So this is much more small. And I'll cut a piece of this and we'll see what happens. I really don't think this is the problem though. I don't see how it could be. I would love to be wrong today because we're so close. We're so close and I really want to be done with the box turtle. Have faith. Remove the piece off. Got it. Yeah, so here we go. Use the face cam. So filament goes in just fine. No problem. No problem. Seems like the part hole is partially blocked. Maybe a 2 millimeter drill to unclog it. That's what I'm thinking. Pop away. But it is true of all 4. So if... I'm trying to think. If all 4 are that way, it's... I don't know. I just feel like that would be unlikely. If that all 4 have the same print issue. I can see light through the hole. It just won't allow filament. Put the 2 millimeter into the extruder and test. Yeah, I need to cut another piece. I'm trying up top first. And I'm getting the same thing. If I pull that out and I put this into the side where it would exit, so let's just remove the the extruder side. So there we go. There's the extruder one is taken out. There's no filament whatsoever. Where I'm running into trouble is for it to come out of the hole that it's supposed to come out of. It won't even come through there. So going into the tube, into the extruder, we haven't even tried to get there yet. But I'll put the small piece into the fitting. Make sure that's bottomed out, and it is. Okay, so we have the small piece of 2 millimeter in the hole. I've got my trusty filament out with the chamfer on it. It still won't go through. Had to step away, need help. A little bit, Thunder. I'm seeing F. Is my mic still on? Okay. Zombie, I think you're saying F to the process, not to the mic, so you scared me for a second. Need help. Kind of. I have filament that we're trying to put through the, I don't know what you would call the trigger part of this thing. I forget, the feeder, I guess. That is not allowing filament to go through. So if I turn this back around, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm up here. I thought maybe the tube was doing it, but it's not. Feeder, yeah. So feeders are not allowing filament to go through. So I can push this in. Nothing, nothing, nothing. If I press, again, nothing, nothing, nothing. It won't go through. If I use the one with the tube, so this one has tube connected up top and at the bottom. Press the trigger, try to feed, nothing, nothing, nothing. And it's true of all four. Is the end stop preventing the trigger from moving? Maybe. So what magnets did I use? The ones that came in the kit? I don't know, they're silver, they're round, 3 millimeters thick, 6 millimeters in diameter. The trigger arm. Boothie, I think you might be onto something. Maybe they're not opening far enough to allow the filament to go through. What kit? That's my Zyltech Lab kit. I think I still have one of the baggies somewhere with the name on it. Again, this is not an LDO kit, Thunder. This company here. Focus. Zyltech Lab. Sorry, there we go. Zyltech Lab kit. Do you know if they're 30? I don't know. They just said magnet. I'm not really feeling like the magnets are too weak or anything like that. I can definitely feel them triggering. They're pulling the trigger out of the way like they should. So I don't think it's magnets. I think Boothie might be onto something here. Manually open the trigger and see if... Yeah, that's what I was doing. Manually open right now. Motor's trying to turn. I can hear it. It won't go through. It just will not go through there. So I think Boothie might be onto something. I think maybe the trigger's not opening far enough. So, yeah, it's kind of where we are. Disassemble and check the bearings. That's what I'm thinking. I think I need to do that anyway because when we tested the lanes, I know that it was supposed to go at full speed, 50, 30, and then 10%. It did not do that. They kind of shimmied like they were, I don't know, maybe a little bound up. I probably have a lot to do with that. I tried to print the gearing out of TPU to make them a little quieter, and maybe that had something to do with it. But if I have to rebuild all four, it's going to be a little bit of a pain. But we have about, I don't know, 40 minutes or so before we call the stream. So if I need to pull the box turtle off and rebuild some feeders right now, we can do that. Just try to clear off the desk a little bit to make some room, if that's what we're going to do. Remove power and see if, that's a good idea, Jerry. Here, let's see if we can turn this off. Let me shut down the printer. And while that shuts down, come back over here. And looks to be good. Turn that down. This is the painful part. So for me, I really need to add some sort of quick disconnect into the bottom of this thing on the cable, because the way that mine is set up, I've got to come in, open the panel, prop this out of the way, like so. Hope it stays there. But you can see I'll have it connected. So I just have a jumper that goes from where my CAN wire is over to the whatever you want to call this, the CAN distribution block or whatever. It runs its own supply back to the power supply, so it has its own 24-volt input. From there, this wire is my tool head CAN, and it gets its own power right there. And then this one goes to the box turtle. Print Lego disconnects. If I could, I would. I need them to carry an electrical signal. Yeah, so this goes to my box turtle, and then I just have it run through the back of the skirt, so it just comes to a hole in the skirt and in. It'd be great if I just put a disconnect up top, so I don't have to do this. Once the printer is in the position that it's going to live for the rest of its life, I don't have the ability to maneuver it the way that I would want to. It's pretty heavy. It's like at least 60 to 70 pounds. Runs an easy bake frame, and all the parts are CNC'd, so it's pretty heavy. And it's a 350, so pretty large machine. But to disconnect, we can do that. Let's get a screwdriver out. Otherwise, how's everybody's Sunday? Should be waking up by now. It's almost lunchtime on the East Coast, or actually after lunch. Did I check if filament would pass through those fancy silver Bowden couplers? I did. They will not pass through. And that's what we're running into right now. So I think I need to completely rebuild the feeders. It seemed to work on like the hub side of it, and it seemed to work when I installed them. But that's the ones they came with. It's probably a little better than the plastic versions, I guess. So now that we have that unplugged, the box turtle can come down. All right, so we'll bring you down to the desk here in a second. This is the real life part of building printers, is that they don't always work like you want them to work. Sometimes they like to be finicky. All right. I thought I just had them lying around. No, I didn't. Did not just have them lying around. Zoom out just a touch. You guys can see what I'm doing. All right. New camera's kind of nice. I like it. I just need probably another one. So as soon as I can find an extra $300, maybe we'll get another one. Be great to have one going towards the printer stuff, and then one over here towards the desk stuff. Get them up and put them to work. Send them on always chores while everyone sleeps. Yeah, ours are still in bed right now as well. They're probably, actually, it's almost 9:30 for us, so they're probably awake. They're probably in there watching cartoons and stuff, eating cereal. But I think we need to, we'll start with one of these. Start with one of these and see how it goes. So we'll stand that on the end, and I'm losing all the T-nuts. Something just came out. Flew across the garage. I don't know. We'll come back to it. But I'm going to pull this one out and see if we can figure it out. If we can figure it out for one, I could probably figure it out for all four. Luckily, this stuff is easy to get after. So I'm gonna pull number 1 out of here. We'll see how that goes. So there's the PTFE. This one is chamfered. So I know Boothie, you were asking about that. This is chamfered. This is the 2mm. So it's chamfered like it should be. I did not do it on the input side. I used the larger on the input side. Multicam is nice. I know it, Zombie. I saw that you picked up an OBS bot. You were talking about it on your stream the other day. What do you think about it? You're more experienced at streaming and whatnot than I am. I quite like mine. I just wish I had more than one. Because I'm trying to film in 2 different locations. Need to look at the respoolers, as that is where the filament starts and where it was blocked. Yes, sir, that's what I'm trying to do, Pop Away. We're looking at the respoolers. I wanted to just take a look at these couplers, because if they're blocked on here as well, then it's going to be a problem. Boothie says only the larger size Bowden on the top feed, all else is 2. Yeah, that's probably my mistake. I think I got carried away and just started working without watching the instructions closely. So I'll go back through and swap it all out for the rest of these here on this side. All of these are the 2mm, the ones in the back and all this here. So these will get swapped out. I think I probably kinked it anyway. If you look at that guy, that one looks to be kinked. So that's me being me. What did I do with that piece of filament? I want to check to see, because if this is going to be a problem too and I have to rebuild everything. Yeah, so it goes through there. I can feel it going up against the gears. And if that were powered, it would pull that through. I don't have an issue. Oh, there goes some hardware. I don't have necessarily an issue with that. So I'm just put this one back where it's supposed to go here. That's another reason for the 2. Yeah. Yeah, I think the 3 that they gave me is not PTFE. I think it's FEP. Because it feels not the same. It's not as bendy. It's more... how to think of it, like more rigid, I think. And so it's not as nice. Let's see, let's put this in here. Come on. Sorry, I'm blocking you guys with my big fat head. You have 3 in there, great. 3 OBS bots. Color accuracy could be slightly better. That's what I noticed too, is that the color is a little bit off from natural. Like for me, I feel I'm using it right now for the main cam that you're watching me do whatever I'm doing on. And on this one, the color feels, I don't know, cold is probably the way I would explain it. Feels a little cold, but then this camera is just a 1080p webcam, so it looks washed out. So I want to get something for this, and then I like how you have like an overhead. I need to get one up top here and just add that to have an overhead cam. So I really kind of need just like a stationary plain 4K for like an overhead desk camera. And then if I can get another OBS bot Tiny 2 like this guy here, we'll have that going towards the workbench. You notice with your cameras, the color is usually off, but it's because I don't have professional. Neither do I. I've got overhead garage lighting that's super LED to the point where I have to turn it down, and I still have like shiny on my head right here. And then on the desk though, on this camera, it looks great. But on this camera, it's not. So it is what it is. We'll get there. So that feeder, or sorry, whatever, the extruder part of that, excuse me, terminology. The extruder part of that looks to be fine and cleared. So I'm not thinking that it's the fittings. I'm thinking it's maybe the part. But I just turned that over and realized that I get to it from the bottom here. Yeah, let's see. There's 2 screws in here. I don't remember how I put it together, to be honest. There's just so much hardware in the way. Wiring in the way. Let's see if we can move you guys up just a touch here. You had to go in manually and adjust the exposure, and that helps. So I've been thinking about that, and it is an idea. I don't know shit about camera settings. Zombie says they're all green and whatever, and I'm like, great. Not really sure how to fix that. I think that means it has like a green tint. I think that's what you're saying, but I don't know how to determine what is too green or too magenta or too whatever. It's literally just kind of playing it by ear. If it looks good to my eyes, it's good enough for me. Google, yeah, I'm tracking. But how about time? How about time? As I continue to do the job that I do, the less time I find I have for a bunch of random things. All right, so I'm gonna disconnect the LED. There's some more wiring in here probably. So I'm just gonna go slow. Ah, that's so painful. I forgot that I need to undo the in stop in there as well. That's very well hidden in there. Let's go this way. Let's move that. Make sure that we're not pinching any wiring. I don't want to destroy things. And then figure out which in stop that is amongst all the mess that we have down here. That is one thing I do appreciate about the LDO kit is they give you the exact wire length you need, and so it keeps things cleaner. I did not want to shorten all mine because it was just a pain. So because of that, I have to suffer through the different wiring and try to figure out what goes where. Okay, so I'm seeing that is probably this guy. Okay, so he is done. And then I have, so I had gone through and zip tied a bunch of this too. I'm probably gonna have to cut some zip ties. And then there's a yellow that's for that trigger. So let's cut the zip tie on this one, and it should be free. Just try not to snip a wire while we're rooting around and all this stuff. Okay, so that's that. That trigger is now free. Let's see if I can pull that out. Oh, great. That was the wrong one. Oh, I love it. I love it. So I'm not connected to that guy. This one is connected to over here. See if that is the right one. Yes. It seems to be the right one. We'll disconnect the other side of that LED. And then the wire. Just need some help getting the... There we go. We got it out. There we go. Now, I'm going to move you off to the side. Just stay right there, and we'll look at this extruder. You tune pretty much every setting. Well, you want to tune mine? I just don't want to do it. All right. So this is what I'm looking at. And this is the spooler removed, LED in, LED out, and then this should be the end stop. So it's triggering like it should. It's a pretty audible click. So I'm good there. What I'm not good at is it's notchy when it tries to turn. And then I'm not getting clearance through here. So that's what we're going to look at. So as I look down there, I can see that there is light coming through. I don't see any noticeable obstructions. But if I grab my piece of filament that I have since moved all over the place, there we go. if I grab my piece of filament and I go to put this through here, it doesn't go, but I can feel that it's on the gears. So if I press on the trigger, now it wants to go through. And it comes out the bottom. So that tells me that it's more than likely Boothie's suggestion that when I am, how to say it, when I am, let's take that off of there. When I'm pressing on my trigger, they don't have enough travel to allow the filament to go through. I think maybe it's limiting. Check your gear meshing here too. Yeah, so that's one thing I did do, was look at all the gear meshing as I was assembling. So I'm pretty sure that the gearing is correct. And if I look down through there, I can see things look aligned as they go through. And even if I go through the bottom, it's now working like it should. But if we're going to take this apart anyway, because I think I need to rebuild these wheels. Oh, ooh, I forgot. Check this out. So West 3D got rubber wheels in stock. So I picked up rubber wheels, and these showed up on Thursday. They showed up on Thursday. So I need to do this anyway. And if I'm going to do this, oh, look at that. I didn't know it came with feet. But it came with feet. I have hard, what are these? These are the harder rubber feet on the box turtle right now. But these feet, they feel softer. So we'll save those for a different thing, but these are much better than the TPU ones that I'm using right now. So we'll probably swap these out. And while I'm at it, another new thing, 1 second. We have new frames, because if you guys remember, I'm using the Boothie wheels. That's why we have the hardware coming to the side. His suggestion is that these work a lot better and they stay on center without having to use glue and all this other kind of stuff. So one of his mods. But he made for us these frames that are able to accept bearings, and I have those also showed up in my bin of box turtle things over here. They are MF 148 bearings, so we have some of those as well. And so if we're going to rebuild, and that's what I need to do, then let's rebuild like we should. So we'll take this off. I'm just going off of memory here. I'm not going to try to open manuals and go back through and all that kind of stuff. If I get stuck, then we'll do that, but pretty sure I'll be fine. Let's turn the heat off here. It's getting really warm. We're supposed to be in like the mid 70s today, but overnight it's been in the low 30s. So we have anywhere from a 40 to 50 degree swing in weather temps every day. Cool. So hardware is good. Let's get one of these torture trays out. Torture tray. All printed on the Elegoo Centauri carbon, by the way. That thing's been great. I moved it, I put it right next to where I have the bamboo on the shelf over there. And I've been printing a lot. Printed some Easter stuff, and it turned out really good. It's in the house. I didn't have it out here, but it turned out really good. Still recommend it if you're in the mood for a new printer that's enclosed, Core XY high-speed type thing. And yeah, so with his thing, you could put the bearings in here, and then they provide support to keep things level. So super ingenious. And they're kind of held in like you would with any other hex nut. Let's see if we can show you that. So it has the like a hexagon pattern on there to hold things in place. And so that's super rigid and flush on there like it should be. That was one of the downsides of using the spooling wheels, is that they can, if you don't tighten them evenly, come off center. And I think that's probably what's going on here. So we'll add these in here and then we'll reassemble this extruder and then get you guys off to Steve in like 20 minutes here. Oh yeah, tool. I have the wow stick, or I think that's what this is called. Yeah, wow stick. And I always forget to use it, but running in a 60mm M3, kind of need it. It's a lot of thread in there. Get a forearm workout. So I get that one out a little bit, and then we'll go to the other side. Where is it? Yeah, this guy. Ah, come on, Butterfingers. It's got enough torque to get through it. I have it sitting on the desk. I don't use it nearly enough. I feel like I should probably use it a lot more than I do. But I like the driver. It just gives me the tactile feedback I need to know that things are tight without being over tightened. And the wow stick's just going to go until whenever it hits its torque limit. Now, admittedly, that torque limit is low, but I like the tactile feedback. All right, so there's one. I'm thinking in my head too that I hope I can get these TPU wheels off of here. If I cannot, I may just have to cut them off. And then I'm probably going to have to print parts anyway to be able to do this, because mine right now are printed in TPU. I'll show you that once we get things apart a little more. I have the shims. I'm going to hold on to those. I was using that previously, these shims here. I was using these previously to create some space in there, but I don't think I need them now that we have bearings in the feeder housing. If I am wrong, someone will tell me. It's got so many things on the desk. All right. So we can keep those the way they are. I just want to see if I can take these wheels off. I don't think I can. I'm probably going to have to cut that because see what I can use as a pry bar without having to cut myself with a safety knife or a hobby knife. Is Steve streaming today? I thought he was heading overseas. Oh, that's a good fact. I think you might be right, Papa. If you go to his channel real quick, he usually has like a waiting screen on right now or something. He may be going overseas. I think I remember him saying that last week with Daniel, that they were going overseas. Not really impacting this stream as much. I just like to only go for like 3 hours, which takes me right into his stream. So for my own personal reasons, I like to watch Steve anyway. And so because I don't want to sit here and talk for 6 hours, 3 hours works for me. I can't get that off of there. It's just timed appropriately so that it accounts for Steve's stream. I really didn't want to cut these, but I think we will. I don't know another way to get them off. They're on there so well. Yeah, we'll just cut them. With Canuck creator Nero. Oh, I think he's going too, though. That's why. I think they're going together with someone else. I forget who the third person is. If you said it, I would probably remember, but right now, I don't. But yeah, I think both of those guys are are going. But that's good though. That means more people here for this one. I've been batting around an idea in my head while we have the hive mind here. I've been considering making this the last box turtle build. That's why it's called the finale. Because I'll be honest, I'm kind of burned out with it. I'm a little more productive. I can do things a little quicker when I don't stream it. And because it's still a little bit intricate to get through a lot of this, I think I just might do it off stream to get it done. And then we'll do maybe a stream where we talk through it. We do like a first print kind of thing. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that process? Because honestly, it's like, it's just a matter of being productive. If I'm going to be out here, like last stream, for example, last stream was so many issues that it took all stream, and all we did was make a cable and we tried to flash a board. And that's all we got done in 3 hours. Print and chill. That's exactly what I'm thinking. And we could do the first calibration, and maybe that'll be like the serial stream. Okay. All right, there's the LEDs that will release the trigger and that. So this is what I did. This is where I got fancy, and I think that's probably my issue as well, is this gear is TPU, and the indent was not normally there. I've got the Boothy Wheels mod, yeah. Yep, Boothy Wheel mod. The indent was not there. That was flat when I printed this. It is not flat any longer. So I think these bearings are going to be extra. We'll save those for another project. Yeah, we'll save that. I'm going to reuse it. And then this frame can come off of here. Something else I kind of screwed up too, Thunder Keys, is when I soldered these, I soldered them straight out. I realized afterward that I should have soldered them up, kind of coming out the top of this, but I didn't pay close enough attention to the manual. How's it going? Just finished adding a drinking water faucet with extra filters. We were unable to get things going, Iconic Fab. So what we're doing right now is pulling apart the feeder because I could not get filament to feed through. It's not the print. It's not a print quality issue. So like I have this piece of filament here. Things go through just fine. I think what ultimately was happening is the trigger itself. When we would trigger, it wouldn't move far enough out of the way to allow filament to pass through. It was just getting hung up in there. And even on the trigger part of this, that pathway is clear as well. So it's not a print part problem. These are actually probably some of the nicer prints that I've made. So well-tuned bamboo profile there. Same for these. Printed on the bamboo. Overhangs came out nice. So there's no like filament problems. Yeah, did push the trigger arm when feeding. That is how it works. Yeah, I did push it while it was feeding. I did not feel that things were I don't know, misaligned in any way. They just weren't words matter. They just weren't going through, like it wouldn't, I don't even know how to explain it. It just would not allow the filament to go through. Let's see. It's adjustable from back where switches are located. Yes, it is. I could have moved it out of the way, but what we did was the lanes weren't triggering like they should have been. And so I wasn't getting a lot of the, I wasn't getting the triggering portion of the build. And so the lanes were not spooling like they should when we tested them. Bearings are not allowed to separate enough. Can you do a close-up? Yeah, I can do a close-up. Oh, sorry. This guy here. So that is that's also TPU. It seems to be fine as far as the gear. I'm thinking I might reprint that one as well. Because it is TPU. I printed it solid though. So there's no infill on that. That's 100% infill gear. So it's rigid. I mean, it is printed from TPU, but it feels like PLA or PETG. It's solid. Same for these. These are also printed solid, but nonetheless, you could see how it dented in. That's not a design feature. That is just the tightening of the wheel. So I think what happened is it pulled the middle through, splaying the gears out, and it just wasn't aligning like it should have. So it wasn't turning like it should have. So we'll throw those in the trash. I'm going to have to rebuild all 4 of these. But motor goes on that side with the trigger there. We'll add in our axle brace. And this is the tricky part. I had to do... Take that out of there. I had to do one wheel and another wheel at the same time while trying to manage holding all the parts together. That got a little tricky. Okay, so we'll put these new wheels on here. And those actually go on much easier than the old TP wheels did. Did you guys, when you printed these, Boothie or anybody else that's printed these, did like the lip on here break off like this? Because I'm seeing that every time, and sometimes it'll go down under the... No, you're not seeing that? Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But that wheel, that lip is so thin, and the wheels are so tight, that when I press it on there, it's breaking that first couple layers off, only on your first print. I mean, the wheel is still tight. It's not turning at all. Echo is back. Reverb again. What is happening over here? Not sure. Reverb again. Man, what is going on? Maybe I'm too close to something? Is that what's happening? How's it now? I can try to turn the volume down. Let's see. Echo. Are we good there? The rest didn't do it. All right, so I'm seeing echo, I'm seeing reverb, seeing echo. Are we still hearing that? I'm not changing anything on my side, and I can't tell. I honestly don't know why it's reverbing one way or another. The mics on this camera and this camera are both turned off, so I don't know why it would be echoing at all. I'll just make sure for all the audio that things are where they should be. And yeah, literally every other like input is off. So I'm not sure why. Does it work if I do that? Yeah, so not sure why. Very strange. Anyway. So the plan right now is to finish this wheel. We'll get this back together. I will get it back on the box turtle, and then we'll try to see if we have solved the issue. I want to make sure I get these wheels on correctly. Yeah, thanks Lego Therapy for swinging by like always, man. I appreciate you. There we go. Low audio. We could turn it up. So maybe it went down a little bit when I made a change there. How's that audio? Is that better? Put the stream to 100 again. Was I too loud before, Pop Away? Man, you guys are so needy today. No, that's kind of the, we should just change the name of the channel to audio problems, because everything that we do, there's always an issue with audio. Perfect. Okay. All right, so that goes that way. This goes, most streams are loud, so you keep it low. I try not to be a loud stream. I don't speak that loudly in the first place. And so for me, I don't like loud either. Booty, those bearings in there are nice. So when I first assembled this and the bearings were on the inside and I was using those TPU gears, they really pressed in to the point where I thought we were pushing the bearings out. The new design with the flange on there works very nicely. That's so much more smooth. Plus 5% louder. I don't know that I have 5% left without going into playing with the gains and putting filters on and all that kind of stuff. But I am recognizing that I don't have a replacement part for this. So I can't really go too much more forward. But we could try to reuse this one for now. And then I'll just reprint off stream some parts. Because I don't believe I have any ABS loaded on anything that is powered on right now. So I'm not going to be able to print a part remotely from here. That was a noke, not a good one. I think you meant joke. Okay, we'll adjust it down 1 or 2 notches so that we don't blow out eardrums. All right, so that looks to be what we wanted. We'll get this other wheel on here. It's always tricky to get it through everything else. So maybe I should have started on the gear side and put things together. And then we can add the other side. There it goes. Okay, so that's how that goes. I'm seeing the wobble because it is the two need both to be able to go through there. And then line up that wheel. Just looking down the hole to try to get that through. There we go. Really good design. I do like that. You have the 2 screws to go through there to pinch things together, sort of. And then with the come on, there we go. And then with the am I going to reprint those gears in ASA? I am. Thunder, we were just talking about that. I don't have a machine that's powered on right now that has ABS loaded. I was printing some Easter stuff this week, and so both the Elegoo and the X1 Carbon have all PLA in it. They can also be in PLA. Well, I can do that. Here, let's go over the slicer then. Let's open up Orca. PLA is fine. Okay. Let's see what colors I have. Yeah, I got some PLA in there. Let's get you over to the slicer. And we'll try to print some PLA stuff. That framing is off. Let me fix that. A little better. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's cutting off the edges of the window here. So I just want to make sure that we see what we need to see. Let's do that. Oop, not good enough. Okay, let's go there. And we'll do that. Now we can see what's going on. Okay. So in the slicer, we get the bamboo already loaded up with PLA. And on the Elegoo, we have the brown. So depending on what you guys want to see, we can do either one. They're roughly the same as far as capability and whatnot. we've already got this one loaded, so we'll just do that. ABS, we'll turn it to, what do I have loaded in there? I think I have, whatever. We'll use regular bamboo PLA. I can't exactly tell. I think it's Galaxy. It is purple. And then if I want to use the correct settings, go back to the box turtle stuff. So armored turtle XYZ. And then I want to get the right settings for all your parts. Go back to the intro. Come on. All right. Sweet. So we're looking for gyroid 20% for top, bottom, and side with a 0.2. And I believe that's what we have. So let's add in here. And I know that I added, I have a box turtle. I downloaded all the things. And these are not changed from last time, as far as I know. In the case if I'm wrong or if somebody else knows that these have changed for sure, let me know. But I don't believe the parts have changed. So let's get my life together and find where I put these. Box turtle, parts, STLs, looking for base build stuff for the spooler, and we're looking for spur gear 30, or no, we need actual boothy parts. Yeah, we need boothy parts for this. Almost messed that up. So, let's see. Boothie, do you remember the name that you had changed this? Leave 40% for infill, in your opinion. For other parts, you agree with 20. I'm not against printing things more beefy. I think I might have done that anyway, just by default, because I have my profile set how I have my profile. And I just use that for most things. I'm trying to remember the name of the gear. Let's see, I think it's this. Boothie, it's the large gear, correct? It's that. That should be right. I just want to see the chat here. Probably. Yeah. Yeah, got it. I just need to break these out. So what I did, Boothie, was take, if you remember when I made the 3-lane in SB, I just combined all the parts and the STLs together to get the correct number of things and combine them. So what I have to do is just split them to objects so that I can have all 3 and then just clone one. Now I've got 4 that I can print with. Like so. Slice that. And it takes about 30 minutes. And that's with my regular settings. This is my standard. I like to use my Voron profile. And this one has 4. Go down to 4 here. Go down to 4 here. And I'm fine with leaving it at 40, but I don't know. I've already not been following the rules up to now, and it's created some issues for me. So I think maybe I'll start following the rules just to get this project finished. So we'll slice that once more. Cool, 35 minutes with 20%. It says gyroid in there, but I do like the crosshatch better. Let's see, make sure that I'm not crazy and things are going to print well. Yeah, no issues with that. What do you guys think? Do you use Arachne for small detailed features like that, or do you leave it on classic mode over here in quality? So right now I leave mine in classic mode, but if there's a movement to have things be in Arachne so you can print small, you use mostly Arachne boothing? Okay. Mostly Arachne. Okay, we'll swap it up. I don't know if it helps us with this one though, but I just noticed it because when I went to the bottom layer, I had those little white triangles in the corners here, and now I don't. So I think that's probably the better bet for this particular print. Orca says it doesn't work in Clipper. I mean, I don't know how they can say that because it's been that way all the time. I mean, it's just G-code. It's how they, it's however your slicer makes the file. Like, it shouldn't matter whether it's Clipper or anything else. It seems that these parts differ from the ones used. Yeah, Iconic Fab, these are for the wheel setup that I'm using. Like I said, I'm using Boothy's wheels, his mod. And his mod requires different large gears. And so that's why they're different. If I were using the stock parts, then that's where we would be. So again, I'm just using different stuff. Hover over the setting and read the pop-up. Yeah, I can do that real quick. I'm trying to change cameras here real quick. Let's do that, and then that. Oh, no, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. Yeah, put that down there. It's not what I wanted. Turn off. Turn on. Ah, frustrating today. Okay, hover over the setting and read the pop-up. We'll do that real quick. Over the setting. Classic wall generator produces walls with constant extrusion width and very thin edges. Gap fill is used. Arachne engine produces walls with very extrusion width. I don't see anything that talks about Clipper not working, Rob. But hover over this one. Says the same thing. I don't see anything about Clipper not working with Arachne. You're the first person I've ever heard say that. Because again, it's just a G-code change. It shouldn't matter what the... it said that on yours yesterday. Okay. Maybe it's the version that you're using. I'm using 2.3.0 release candidate. So this is the one that came out like 5 or 6 days ago. But we're gonna send this over to the X1. Sure. Oh, dang it. You know what? I disconnected my AMS. I disconnected my AMS, so it's not going to work like we want it to work. That's frustrating. Okay, what to do here? We will send it to the Elegoo then. The Elegoo has some brown in there. We'll do that instead. Yeah, I was printing chocolate bunnies for Easter, and so it has like this chocolate colored filament in there. But it's the only one that's online right now. I have disconnected the AMS because I needed, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but there's a big TreeTech, I don't know, like expansion board kind of thing that you can put on the back of your X1, and it provides up to 4 different power sources for connecting a bunch of Bamboo Labs together or whatever, right? And it's a 4-pin cable, and that 4-pin cable has like 4 to 5 additional outlets on this add-on board. Well, the cable for the AMS to provide power to that is not long enough, and it only comes with one, is not long enough to go from that board to the thing, and I have not bought a new one. So I disconnected my AMS because also on that board are 4 USB ports, and I wanted to have additional lighting inside my Elegoo. That's the one downside. There's not enough light inside there, and so it does not look good when you go to the device. So we're here now. If I turn this camera on, you'll see that it's much improved from what it was. I put that light in there. If I turn, yeah, it's not working for me now. So now it looks even worse on this camera. This camera just adjusts white balance in such a way that you can't see what's going on. So let me turn that off. This may make me rethink my solution here. So I had this Wham Bam light bar from my hot box that I put in there, and it lights up the chamber very well, but the camera doesn't pick it up at all. So, man, I thought I was the smartest dude in the world for having something like that. But I'm not if it doesn't work, and that's frustrating because I needed it to work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut the zip tie and put it on top again like it used to be. Let's pull that out of there while we're heating up. Sorry, I'll get back to you guys here in just a second. I'm working on getting the light correct, because I want to be able to see in there, and right now I cannot. So we'll just lay this on top. Sort of not ideal, but you got to do what you got to do. And let's see how that looks now with things being a little more illuminated. Hey, that's so much better. Yeah, that's so much better. So that's what it should look like. So as that prints, let's figure out what we're gonna do over here. Have a little bit of a chat and chill. We're already over time. This is gonna take about 30 minutes to print. And I think I'm gonna try to see if we can add this feed as just like a cam. So I wanna see how I can do that. If anybody has an idea, let me know. See if we can use it as like a virtual webcam in Streamlabs here. And then we can put you back on, I don't know, something a little more large. Okay. So looking for, I want a window. I don't need a video. I need a virtual camera. That's what I need. And I don't necessarily see that in here. Maybe a browser source. See if we can do that. Yeah, seems to kind of work. And then if I spread this out, I'll get you guys back here in a second. Put that down this way. Which seems to be a better setup than just looking at a slicer window. Yeah, super cool. All right, so as that goes, we can turn this into a little bit of a chat and chill. What are we talking about? Have you guys seen the new bamboo stuff? The leak that happened the other day? Have you guys seen that at all? There we go. I think I like that a little better. It's hacky, but it's going to work for what we need today. So I saw a leak on Facebook where somebody posted pictures of an H2D. If you remember that at all. The H2D is like supposed to be their next new printer coming out, and it had like you saw a video. Yeah, Kegel, I think what's that guy's name? Keo 3D, I think that's the name. I saw his video this morning too before stream, and he was kind of going through the rigmarole. Here, I'll show you. We'll take a look at his page real quick. So we'll go to the YouTubes. Saw posting, didn't see the video. Yeah, so on the YouTubes, I think his name is Keo 3D. This guy. Keo Prince, my bad. Keo Prince. His page, and then you go to his videos, he talks about it right here, the unreleased H2D, changes everything. That's the one you want to watch. He goes through all of the hype and stuff, and you can see how many views it's got already. So it seems to be pretty popular there. But that dude goes through all of it. And the gist is that he's talking about having high temp AMS, kind of like Anycubic does. So Anycubic just released their Cobra, I think it's a Cobra 3, but it's the enclosed Core XY box kind of thing that most people do. But their AMS has heated things on it. I'm just take it back down to the desk. We'll check on the print here in a bit. But it has a heated, I guess like poly dryer type AMS to keep things dry. I thought that was pretty cool. And then there also seemed to be a secondary attachment that you can put on it. And the attachment looks like a laser. And from the pictures that I saw on the Facebook, there is kind of like a notch or something on the front of the tool head that you can install the same thing. Install that laser. Yeah, so it's the same thing that you saw. Yeah, they'll have to jump through hoops to win people back. Won't work very well. Maybe. I think they need to release that printer if they want to get back. They need to release that printer, and that'll get everybody hyped again, or at least officially tease it, show off some teaser trailer or teaser photos or something. We all expected first quarter of 23 because that's what they said, and here we are. Here we are without a printer and no update on when. I don't know what I saw, but I also heard that it'll be the end of the year 25 now instead of first quarter, which kind of sucks. So we're delaying an entire year for no obvious reason that they've explained. I think they're going to get surpassed if they don't start doing something. You got to keep the people engaged in what's going on. And to be the talk of the town for the last 3 years and then release almost nothing new or to advance anything, and instead you are creating drama and making things harder for people to use, that's the opposite of what you want to do. So I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. Look at what the Plus 4 can do, and they're about to come out with a changer. Exactly. The Plus 4 had a hard time, but was it Cheedy? Cheedy did their best to address the issues. They sent new parts out. They took care of the customers, even though it did probably impact them a little bit. They took care of the customer complaints, and they did their best to fix the problems. And now I'm seeing people recommend that machine all over the place. I also thought about getting one instead of that Elegoo carbon, but it's pretty large. I have exactly one space left, and that's where the carbon is right now. The price though, the price of the carbon is what sold it for me. I can get 2 carbons for 1 Cheaty. I have a 350 to my left. That's what we've been working on all day. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 other 300s over there on the shelf. I don't need another large printer. So the 250 of the Elegoo at $2.99 just made more sense for me. Ooh, you know what I didn't do on these new spoolers is I did not put the new heat sets in here. So I need to warm up the soldering iron and do some of that before I forget. They jumped on the problem in less than 2 weeks. Exactly. That's what they should do, right? Now, ideally, you wouldn't have any issues from the start. So maybe they should have tested a little more first. That's what you should do. But in the absence of that, you got to do your best to make it right. And I think they did okay. I would get one of their machines if I were in the market for another machine right now. The thing is, I've got way too many. It costs less to ship out a new SSR than to have a class action lawsuit. Yeah, you're not wrong. I wish FL Sun would do the same. I watched another video this morning where someone had received new parts, like an entire new effector for their FL Sun to replace on the S1 Pro. And I'm like, dang, why did I not get new parts? I asked several times for my non-pro printer and got crickets. Nobody responded to me. They still haven't responded to me to this day, even though since last mentioning it, I sent more emails asking questions. Hey, my stuff's broke. What can we do about this? I'll pay for shipping, whatever. I still get nothing back as far as a response. And that's infuriating. But this other guy, I forget, Mountain Maker maybe, on YouTube, he had a S1 Pro and they sent him an entire effector. That's okay. We'll make our own. We'll make our own and it'll be better than anything that they previously provided. That project's been on a little bit of a back burner. I've not had the bandwidth at work to focus on a project like that. So it's been about 2 weeks and I've made no progress. I need to. I'm thinking LGX Lite and possibly a Fadis Next G. I was playing around with some other hot ends. I think they're like something like a Dragon or Rapido would just be too long. It would hang out the bottom of the effector too much, and I can't really get the LGX up high enough to account for that without making things very top heavy or just very long overall. And then you get sort of a lever effect on the hot end. So it wouldn't be very good at speed, I don't think. So we'll have to figure out a different solution. And the smallest thing I can find would be like a Revo, but it doesn't flow well enough to fit well on that printer. And so I looked at a Fadis Next G with like a CHT, and then I can also get that in a high flow version. And it seems better. It's still a little bit big. It's still about the size of like a Dragon or Rapido would be. So looking for other solutions. We'll see. I might as well put heat inserts in the rest of this parts while I've got the iron hot. Get ahead a little bit here. Oh, man, did I just crush that? I sure did. So for these parts, I've had them printed for a while, but like most things, kind of forgot that I had them done and that I needed to put heat certs in and all those things. I probably should have did this yesterday, but again, time got away from me. Lately, it's literally been just Saturdays or stream prep, and that's if there are no other requirements that I got to do, like fixing my wife's car last week. She had a thermostat go out, and so I spent half the day an hour away in the next town to do my medical exam for my shoulder. And so that took me all the way up until like 1. It was 2 o'clock when I got home, and then still had to fix the thermostat on her car. So I had about an hour last weekend to do anything, and I've got no time during the week. So there are certain things we just don't get to do. Hence, doing heat inserts today. Oh no. But I think as soon as these parts get printed, we will assemble one to just kind of see how that goes and how that fits. And then we'll go ahead and call the stream. I'm just trying to stay busy while those parts are going and try to be productive and use my time wisely. But I'm definitely getting hungry. Haven't had breakfast yet. It is 10:30. And I've been awake for 6 hours. I get up at 4:30 every morning. So 6 hours, no breakfast. Getting pretty hangry. Oh no. I may have to reprint that. That went in there all wonky. That's annoying. Yeah, that one came out really terrible. Look at that. I don't know how I did it, but it went off center, all boogered up. Like, not great at all. Damn it. That's frustrating. Anyway, we'll reprint that one. I think I have barely enough of that filament left to be able to do that. I need to make another order. This is Inland, so like Micro Center brand. You can get it on Amazon. But this is Inland glow-in-the-dark ABS. And I'm down to my last, like, maybe 50 grams of this stuff. Because I printed all the parts on the Trident, all these parts on the box turtle over here. It's because I'm hungry? Yeah, definitely. Screwed that one up royally. Let's see if I can pull it out of there. I need to recover that. I haven't fucked up a heat set like that in a while. Yeah, that part's done. Look at that. Focus. Yeah, that part is toast. So we'll reprint that one. Keep it on the desk so I don't forget, but we'll run that off. What else can we do here? I guess I could pull off the other spoolers, but I think I want to do that one at a time so that I don't mess up where the connections go. So if I just do them one by one, I can sort of remember where they go back. That's hot. I don't want to touch it. Come off. Not that I need it. I've got this giant bin of heat sets, but the less wasteful you can be, the better. Oh, and I'm not hungry. I'm hangry. I'm getting hangry. All right. What else can we do here? What hot takes do you guys have? What kind of hot topics can we talk about? Oh, did you guys see that Prusa on the XL at least are doing different tools? So they have like a knife, so you can, like a vinyl knife cutter that they were demoing on Twitter this morning. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not a Cricut or a vinyl cutter kind of guy, but that could be useful for certain people. If you wanted one machine that could do 3D printing, lasering, vinyl cutting, and then I don't know what else, but the XL could do all of that. That would be pretty cool. It'd be like a super Cricut, I guess, because they have a machine that does a lot of that stuff already. Let's check on the slicer and see where we are. I can turn off that. We're about 63% right now. So I'm just trying to organize the stream a little bit more so I know what is what. Yeah, so that seems to be pretty cool. Like it's going along just fine. Got about 13 minutes left on this. So I think I might just pull the rest of these out. At least try to do something productive here. So we'll move some of this out of the way. Know that these are not used yet. They will be. So that's that. That's that. I'll go up there and then tires. Okay. I know that I need to replace all of these tubes. So we can make some quick. Actually, no, these are good. Booty, you told me these are good for the 3 mil. I can use these up top. That's right. It's just underneath. I need to make appropriate length tubes for the things. So I'll adjust that real quick. So these 4 tubes here, I need to remake. So that's one, and this is kind of why I see it now. That's one tube, and you can see that it's kind of kinked. It's not the best. Make glow in the dark filament. That makes the wheel brittle. Oh, that's a good idea. I don't know if chat is super laggy. That was a topic we were talking about a while ago. But yeah, this is like really kinked. I'm gonna recut all of these from the tube I should have used, the 2 mil. Just match up the lengths here. Yeah, just another 3D printing guy. It's definitely kinky. Bottom one, yeah, that's the one. That's the one that I was talking about right there. When I took the bottom panel off and saw that, I was like, I need to replace that. That's what my brain was thinking about. So we're just gonna cut you right there. If you don't got one of those, super helpful. I got this in a kit from Capricorn. When you order their Bowden tube, it'll come with one of these cutters. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. And we'll just replace these one by one as well. Let's see how I want to do this. So what are your guys' thoughts? Should I chamfer this? Should I chamfer this one? It's 2 mil, like it should be. Yes? Okay. At least it'll help out with the feeding of things and stuff, yeah? What's going on with this camera today? It's just not wanting to focus. Over here. There it goes. I don't know, it's still a little cold out here, so maybe it's working. You did a 2.5. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think this is 2. I only have 2 types, 2 and a 3. So I'll just put a chamfer on this one really quick. So I have this tool, and that's what I use. I just put that down in there. It's like a hole reamer. Just take some of that PTFE off. And then what I like to do is use my handy dandy piece of filament and just run that through there to make sure that there's no extra chips of PTFE that I can't account for. I don't need that going into the extruder. So just run that through, and there's one. Tip we just chamfered, I'm going to put out towards the feeder. And then this other side shouldn't matter because the filament path goes this way. Just get that in there. Like so. All right, there's one. 104. This other one, we have to get a tool down in there just to release that. And I just realized, like, all that tinkering around we did with triggers and end stops and everything a little bit ago, we're gonna have to redo all of that. Because as soon as I pull these out and reinstall them, they're likely not going to be right in the great place. Too long causes kinking. I mean, I cut them to length. I still have the tool. What did I do with it? Pretty sure I still have the tool to use as a cutter. So as part of the box turtle parts that I still have left over, I kept that tool just in case. So that guy. And that's what I use to make it. So if they're too long, then the tool is wrong. So you get 50 to this slot and then 80 to the other one. These smaller ones are 50. The longer ones should be 80. So these middle two, so number, let's see backwards here. So number T1 and T2 should be 80. Unless I'm thinking about that wrong. This is what we just pulled out of here. I mean, now you got me questioning myself. I want to go back to the manual and see what I'm doing. Close this one. Go back to, let's go to final. I did not put those little things on the ends of my PTFE tubes. They make it look nice. The ones that I printed, for whatever reason, were scaled a little bit too large. They wouldn't stay on. Okay, we'll go back one more then. We'll go to general. And we'll go to page, I don't know, 3. Is that where the 3mm ID tube goes? 3mm ID tube, from what I understand, Rob, goes right here. So if I use the CAD model as an example, it goes right here to accept filament. What I'm being told earlier in the chat, everything underneath should be the 2mm. So to the hub, to the extruder, to the extruder, to the feeder should all be 2. Those are an important part of the design. Yeah, so that's exactly why I'm going back in here, to be sure that I'm doing it correctly. It goes in 2 places. I need a table of contents. I don't know how far back this 3mm pre-extruder, 2mm post. Thanks. Thunder Keys, when you say pre-extruder, you're talking from here to the spooler. So these 2 should be 3. And then from the extruder to the hub should be 2. Because that's what I have. And I was told I was wrong. So that's what I'm doing, is removing I'm removing these 3mm tubes right now. Okay, Thunder Keys says I'm correct. The rest of you, suck it. We're putting 3mm tubes back in there. I thought so. It would explain why I have it in there in the first place. I know that I've missed certain steps, but also I've done a lot right, so just trying to find the point in the manual where we can look at that all together and it will clear up all the stuff. So right here, page 36 in General Assembly. If not done during extruder installation, insert a 3mm ID by 80 tube into the spooler ECAS fitting and gently bend and insert it into the extruder, making certain the Bowden tube is well secured. So they should all be 80, and they should all be 3mm. And then it gets into using a drill bit to chamfer, all that kind of stuff. Like I was saying earlier, the wall on this one is already pretty thin. I'll chamfer how much I can. I was lied to. I think somebody just made a mistake. I don't know that they were being malicious and lying to me. But I need 4 80mm lengths of 3mm ID Bowden tube. And then on the back side, from the extruder to the hub, is where I use the 2mm Bowden tube. And those are going to be anywhere from 101 to 171 millimeters long. Okay, so we're just going to do this. I'm going to put the jig down. We're going to put the old tubes in here and check to see how long they are. They are just over 80 by like a millimeter or two. And I just heard the print finish as well. So let's do this. So it's just over what it should be. I'm just going to trim that down and reinstall that. So that's maybe a millimeter off. You can see it on the knife. It's stuck. It's not very much at all that we shaved off of there. But this tube is what goes in. And so I'm just going to remove the 2mm that we put in there initially, and we'll backtrack. I didn't think that was incorrect. I could not be that wrong. All right. Oh, sorry about that. I blew your eardrums out. I'm just knocking things over on the desk. The cable on the box turtle just grabbed a bunch of stuff. What is the watch I have? This is a Garmin Fenix 6X Pro Solar. That's a mouthful, I know. But it's a, I call it a sport watch, but it's a smart sport watch. So it'll do any activity that you want to do, heart rate monitor, all that kind of stuff. So if you're like a serious athlete, or you like to hike and bike and swim and all that kind of stuff, this is going to track a lot of that data for you. But it's also a smartwatch, so you can get notifications from your smartphone and whatever. The 6X Pro Solar is probably on sale if you can find it somewhere, because the 8 is out. So your chances of getting it at a significantly reduced cost is pretty high. If you're interested, jump on like Garmin.com and check it out. See if you can find one for a decent cost. I think that's where I got mine. I also had a like a coupon code, or like a special, I don't know, special deal code or something like that for the time of year it was. But I got it for a for a lot less than MSRP. Give me a second. I'm gonna go grab those prints off of the tray over here off the printer. I'll bring it over and show you guys. We were successful. There are prints on the plate. And they are chocolate brown. They are super chocolate brown. Look at this. Hey, 3D Wolf, thanks for joining. We're getting to the point where we're going to wrap up here in a second, so you got here just in time. And I do use a coating. That's why you're seeing the plate look so many different colors like that. Is I like to use Vision Miner on all my stuff just as extra insurance. I didn't necessarily need it for PLA when we first started printing on the Elegoo, but again, I just want that extra insurance on there, and so I added some Vision Miner. Too bad they're not edible. I know they can't. They do really look chocolatey. They really look chocolatey. I'll see if I can pull the name off of the filament spool, but I want to say this is a Jesse mix that they just kind of put out there as a, I forget the name of their, when they just release stuff that they're testing, but it's not an official color. I forget the name of that, but it's from Printed Solid. And wouldn't you know it, I have respooled it onto something else, so we'll never know the name of it. It's on a master spool, so I do not have the name of this, but it really does look like chocolate. Like I said, I was printing a bunch of chocolate Easter bunnies for my kids and their class, and those chocolate bunnies look edible. All right, long tubes. Let's see. Let's finish out the long tube business here. This one is also just a slightly long. I'm gonna trim that guy. I'm gonna move this camera down here. Just another mixtape. Yes, mixtape. That's it. Thank you. Yes, mixtape PLA is what it was. At one point, I had subscribed to their mixtape box or whatever it's called now, and I started getting overloaded with filament. There would be periods of time where I print a lot, and so I get through it, and then other times where I don't, and it would just kind of pile up. So I have a bunch of mixtape. I ended up pausing, canceling, whatever you want to call it, the subscription. And that subscription, I might as well not even install these again. I'm gonna have to take them out to remove the thing. So we'll just cut some longer tubes out of this one. So put this over here. But no, their mixtape stuff was pretty good. I did have trouble getting it to go through my AMS though. I don't know if anyone else has tried that, but it would always jam or clog or something in the AMS where it wouldn't feed correctly. So while it is good filament, it didn't work in my AMS. So I have to respool it every time I want to use it. And just over my shoulder, you can kind of see it in this top corner up here if you're looking at the face cam. That whole shelf there is littered with a bunch of mixtape PLA. And that's because when I'm printing things for, I don't know, just to give away or whatever reason, I don't necessarily care what color they are, and neither do the people getting it. So why not use affordable filament in random colors if color doesn't matter? When you use Jesse, you found it to be pretty hot PLA? Hot like you have to print it hot? Is that what you're saying? For me, it wouldn't feed through the AMS. That was my problem. I'm gonna pull these other tubes out of here though. They're kinked. Somebody was saying, I forget who it was, sorry. This one is definitely kinked. That's not me bending it. It's legit that way from the install. So maybe it was a little long going in, and that's why it kinked. Let's measure this out. I'm curious. In the jig, down. No, that's right at 80 on the jig at least. Come on. It's right at 80 on the jig, and it kinked anyway. Super kinky, yeah. So if that's the case, that's unfortunate. I don't know how that happens, but I think they'll be fine. We'll just have to straighten them out. Put a little heat on them, straighten them out. And then if they keep going back in, then we will. So that one just bent nicely. Maybe they just gave me some cheap PTFE or FEP. You blame society. Society is interesting right now. You're not wrong about that. Depending on where you live, it may be nice, it may be not. All right, all the tubes are out. They're all 80. We cut new ones. We measured old ones. Everything seems to check out. So let's finish up the extruder portion here, and then let you guys go on about your days. All right, axle. Now we have gear. Gear meshes well. And then we can do, see, this is the crazy part. I need to do wheels. The order of operations on this one matters. So bearing in the new face, axle in, and then you put on left wheel, from the, if you're looking at it from the front, left wheel through the axle, just like so. And then make sure that M3 goes as far in as you can manage. And then we go gear set, or large gear. Come on. You're gonna make me force you. So I'm just holding this gear so we can go through. Is it Jesse Premium Brown? It might be. It wasn't labeled that. This is a mixtape color, so if they released it after I got the mixtape color, then sure. I don't know. You can short slightly if you have to. I'm not sure what you mean, Rob. Short slightly if you have to. Oh, you're talking about the tubes. Yeah, I was thinking that. If they do start to kink or whatever, I'll shorten them up. It is a spooler mod. Just another 3D printing guy. This is the Boothy spooler mod. He is, I think, still in chat. But he designed this for his not so boxy turtle. And it works on both the stock setup, which is more like what I'm doing. This is not the full NSB mod. And it works on his. I figured I would try it in this one. So that's what we're doing. So then we'll put this on here, like so. Not forget the trigger. I've done that. Also, don't forget the LEDs, which I just did. So trigger back off. LEDs go back in like so that we can route them correctly. So I just need to hold that like that. Right face on. Make sure that we get these in the groove like they should be, so that we can protect them from the gearing and any pinching. Come on. Like that. And then this goes together. Sweet. There it is. And just to be sure, I'm going to put in one of these M3s to hold this together. Makes it a little easier not to fight with it. Holds that together, and we'll do it on this side to hold this together. it is cool to have all these different colors inside of one thing like that. You'll never see it. I know it's there though, and I can kind of see it when I turn it that way, but you'll never see it when it's in operation. You love the trigger with the lever? Yeah, I think it ended up doing the same thing. So these are also Boothys. This whole spooler is Boothys, right? He's modified this. These LED covers or whatever you want to call them, these are a mod on the Discord, not Boothy, but these are somebody's mod, I forget. But you can find those on the Discord. These are Boothy's triggers. They have heat inserts in there so that you can put your hardware in without having to worry about it stripping out the plastic. So that goes inside of there. And then we'll put on the LED cover. Come on. Like that. It's a nice snap. It actually fits a little better than the black pieces that we had before. These didn't snap as nice. Would you say it's cheating? What's cheating? What's cheating? If you're not cheating, what are you doing? The hard part is aligning the brown gear with the axle and the wheel all at the same time. And we have to do that over a 60 millimeter length. So that's where it gets tricky. I probably should have drilled that out a little bit, but we'll make do. Oh, the heat sets? Yeah. My thought on it is if you have the room to do heat sets instead of blind holes where you're just screwing into plastic, you should probably do the heat set. Just my 2 cents. And that just makes things easier to work out. Man, what is going on here? So I'm getting, I'm gonna take this back cover piece off of here. Is the spooler wheels offset? They are not offset. They are the same that you would get for any, where did that come from? Oh, they are the same as that you would get on any other wheel. So they're not offset. They're exactly the same as you would find anywhere else. I'm trying to get the axle to align with the screw I'm trying to put in, and it's not playing nice. So we're just going to take that out. We'll get it aligned first, and then we'll try. Because right now, it's just not working. So I'm trying to keep up with your questions at the same time. It just looked offset by the bearing. No, they should be stock location. The bearing is there because if you remember, on the older one, you have the bearing that is circular, no flange. So circular bearing, no flange, and it just kind of presses into the circle. If I were to, because I'm not using like the steel axle on this where you have to glue the gear on there or anything like that, and it could possibly slip or whatever, right? I'm not doing any of that. So when I'm using this mod, the circular bearing could press out of this. It could press out of this part. With the flange on here, that's no longer a problem because the flange prevents it from pushing in, and just the way that the axle is and whatnot, and it riding against the bearing prevents it from pushing out. So it's a little bit better of an option, in my opinion, to provide a solid way forward, I guess. I really should have drilled out these things because they're a pain in the butt right now. Trying to get through there. Like every time I try to turn this, it turns the gear. It's just ridiculous. All I want to do is get this to go in here without spinning around all over the place. The screws are offset. What screws? The ones I'm doing right now on the wheel? These are meant to be. They're meant to be offset so that you can, they basically go in from either side. So you end up with two 60mm long screws that go through a printed axle. They go through this printed axle and into a lock nut on this side. So they kind of pinch everything together and make them super rigid. And now with the bearings in there, it should be easier to have them be equal and to be parallel. And so that's the idea. If Boothie is still in the chat, maybe he can answer more, but that's my understanding of what is happening and why we're doing this. Okay, I think I kind of almost got it. All right, there we go. Yeah, it's a little bit fiddly. I got to look down in there. So I'm trying to get it to go through the big gear, into the axle, into the other wheel over here, all at the same time. And if they're not perfectly lined up when you're trying to do that, then it's not going to work out well. And again, I should be using my wow stick, but I'm not. See if we can line up the holes on this wheel with the holes on that one. I think maybe I should have just put a little tolerance on those holes to allow the hardware to kind of go through them. I didn't think about it at the time. And as that comes through the other side, I want to line up the other wheel like that. And then we can go through. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Yeah, it's hard to see. It's a little fiddly, but the dual bolts act as a simple retention for the gear without having to use interference fits. Also, all parts are pre-spaced, so no tool required. There you go. Much better explanation. I am not the designer, so thanks for explaining that. You would know better than I. And I tell you already, they are much more parallel and equal. Before it looked very wobbly, but now so this one, I don't know if you could tell, it's wobbly as I turn it. That's because the tension on the screws are not equal. So that's something to look out for. Your printed version, the hole tolerances were quite tight. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm trying to make it so that they are equal here, but that looks pretty equal to me now. Maybe a slight wobble on this one. It's about as equal as they're gonna get. Yeah, the tolerance on this, I probably should have added some tolerance in there. I'll just run the Allen key through, and that should help me a little bit. But I think we're going to jump off stream here in a minute and go check out some food and some lunch before I die. I'm already not a big guy. I don't have calories to be missing here. I'm just not a hammer. Yeah, so some of these are tighter than others. I probably need to do a little bit of tuning on the yellow goo. But that works. I'm gonna get this one reinstalled, and then we'll test the clearance, and then we'll call the stream. So any last questions before we get wrapped up here in the next, I don't know, 5 minutes or so? Any last questions or comments, things you want to see? I'll post another picture or whatever in the YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed and you want to see how we get on with this project, I need you to subscribe so that when I post on the channel pictures and updates that you guys actually see them. Otherwise, YouTube will never tell you. Yeah, that works so much nicer. Now, for the ultimate test, does the filament feed through? Smash the sub button. Exactly. Oh. it feeds through. But it did that anyway because we didn't have it installed. So we're going to install it real quick and see if we get the same motion. If not, it's a trigger problem, not a printed part problem. So bring the box turtle back in. Move the camera up so you can see it. Something like that. What if you're a Dom? I don't know what we're talking about in chat right now. But I like it. Okay, so this goes in. Put all the wiring down in there. Okay. And for what it's worth, things seem to be fine. Just gotta get it under the extrusions on the front side here. Like so. And then the back should slip in like that. It was a little tighter than originally, which I enjoy. I like them to be snug if possible. Just plugging in the LED, and then the LED on the other side. And I'm just going to do this one by one going forward. So I'm not going to connect the second LED here because that's going to go into the second spooler, and I'm going to have to unplug it in 5 minutes anyway. So move the PTFE out of the way and then plug in my spooler and stop back to where I got it from, which is this first port over here, like so. All right, so everything is back where it came. And I want to put this PTFE tube on top of this wiring to kind of hold it down. I don't know why, I just have this superstition that I want my PTFE to push my wiring out of the way so that when the extruder moves or whatever, that they don't catch a wire. I know that's unlikely with that tiny window like that, but that's how I'm thinking of it. All right, so we got it back in there. PTFE is in there. There's a slight kink in it though, and we had just talked about this. So here, I gotta move this CAN cable out of the way. So there's a slight kink right there. I don't know how good that's coming up on camera. As you remember, you printed my trigger arms with the stock frame profile. There may be an issue. I don't know, Boothie. But it may be a revision confliction. These are your new frames though. So I have your new frames, your triggers, your axles, your wheels, everything except the LED are your parts. So if there's a confliction, it's probably a me thing. It's probably not your parts. So if number one works, we should be good. That is kinked. I'm going to fix that off stream. I just want to see if the filament will go through like it's supposed to. If not, I'm going to move the end stop to a place that is clear out of the way, and we'll see. Yeah, so right now, sorry, I'm blocking you guys. Right now, it's the same as before. As I drop stuff on the ground. It's the same as before. I can press on this to move it out of the way. Nothing. So I'm thinking this end stop is too close. Sorry, this end stop here is too close. So I'm going to move that back. I'm going to loosen it completely, move it out of the way. So it's out of the way. It's not even, so it's up above where that trigger would be, allowing full deflection of the trigger, okay? There should be nothing in there. Order some 2.5E. I'll check that out. And you want me to use it for this portion here, yeah? I revised the flange detail to the stock frames, but you printed my trigger arms, which may conflict. Booty, you and I will talk offline. I'll have to reprint some parts if that is true. But we'll see. So I moved that end stop completely out of the way. Let's see if I can feed through now. I still can't. Yeah, so maybe there's Maybe there's some stuff in there. Because too, right? Like this trigger doesn't feel like it moves at all. Like I can hear it clicking, but it is not, it's moving maybe a millimeter, millimeter and a half. So if I look at that one, right? You know, I can zoom in. We can really see this. That's my trigger, okay? Move the LED out of the way. Let's see if I can see. It's only moving that much. Whereas if I look at another trigger, let's go down to the bottom where it's a little more open and less wiring in the way. I move this trigger down here. Try to get this wiring out of the way. I move this one down here. Let's see how much this one moves. It's much more of a movement. So that's the problem. I think we found it. This upper trigger just doesn't move enough. So yeah, maybe there's some part problem there that we can figure out off stream. I'm glad we did all this work for almost no reason. But I need to find some more ABS. I think I got some black over there. We'll print new parts or whatever we have to do, but I think I'll do that stuff off stream. It presses against the frame, if anything. It's hard to tell. I mean, it really is hard to tell what it's pressing against. I do have the spooler exactly where it needs to be. I have not tightened down the hardware, but it's exactly where it needs to be. That trigger, it just won't move. So maybe it is pressing up against the frame and that's preventing it from being where it needs to be. It's possible. So, but teammates, I think that's about it for today. Nothing we could do without more printed parts. So it's what happens when you start to customize and do things and take mods and try to build stuff without just building stock first. So is the spooler fully seated? It is. It's all the way in there. I could do the hardware up. Yeah, I could do the hardware up. And it is going in there. And it's pulling the heat set. So it's where it's supposed to be. Things are lined up like they should be. It's just a matter of, so even as I do that, I'm getting the same limitation on the travel. But yeah, we'll get it. Point of the story, where I was going with this, is like if you're going to build a thing, build it stock and then modify as you go. My issue is that I was kind of doing both at the same time. And so I ran into parts with having outdated parts when we first started. And then I didn't have the correct parts going forward. And now we're realizing that some of the parts I have printed have been updated and I didn't print those either. So we'll get there. Yeah, I think it is the trigger arm, Boothie. I know that it's supposed to work with the stock box turtle, but as far as the parts that I have printed, I don't know if you've updated stuff and uploaded new parts, but the ones that I printed from the stuff that we've shared, it doesn't seem like it works on the stock thing. So I may either print new stock parts and put them in there, or figure out something else. We can talk offline about it. What was the mod for the trigger? Well, it's an entire new spooler. So I'll take you back real fast to where we're going. So if you look at this whole part, it's called a spooler. The whole assembly is a spooler or a respooler. And everything here is a Boothie mod except for the LED cover is not his. The wheels assembly work with, not the frames. Okay, not the frames. So yeah, maybe that's what I misunderstood. I thought the whole thing worked with the box turtle, but we'll figure it out. We got some time. I'm gonna go eat for a little bit, so I'll reach out to you in like an hour or something, and we'll look at some parts and see what we can figure out going forward. Not quite right. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it, but it doesn't move enough to allow filament to go through. But thanks for all 14 of you being here today. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for fighting through it. We went a little bit longer, which is kind of cool. We did 4 hours today. So thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed and liked the channel, please do so on your way out. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for being here. See you guys. Have a good weekend and enjoy your week.